Do you know what, people? There's a reason why I played that old black and white footage of that intro. People will think, what the fuck? Why did he play the oldest intro in the world? There's a reason for that. And I'm going to get into it. First and foremost, welcome back to another, probably, shit, it is the last episode of Transfer Khanage because the window closes in a couple of hours. You're all very welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. And a special guest. I call him special needs more like, and I call him a guest. He's not really a guest. He's never welcome. He just barges himself in. A proper blast from the past. If you know, you know. People are always saying, yo, Ian is in the building. If you know, you know. The OG of OGs. I've got Ian in the building. How are we, pal?
I'm good, man. Introductions and stuff. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Been a long time, Ian. Fatback 4 throwback. If you know, you know. We can't talk too much. We can't say too much in case people get offended and talk about the past. But if you know, you know. He's my centre-back partnership.
Mate, I knew you when you were likeable. The good old days.
Thanks. This is why I brought you on to fucking...
Yeah, you just
bring me down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Oh, people have recognized. Oh, look who's in the chat. Tino.
Oh,
Tino's in the chat. Tino's claim to fame. Do you remember, Ian? Mbappe's overrated.
He said Mbappe was not worth more than £12 million. £12 million, mate.
Oh, Tino, you turn out to be
I've never forgot that, mate. Never.
Blast from the past. Good to see you again, Ian. You know what? I'm surprised that I've got a few oldies in here. I've got loads of newbies, but it's good to have some oldies. Techers Dave's in the building. Evening, lads. Community man. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, pal. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have to bring you up, Timo. That's the only thing that made you relevant was that shout, Tino.
I remember saying it, and if you remember, I remember saying, I cannot wait till about 3 years' time, and you are going to feel like an absolute cunt saying that, honestly.
He called Mbappe overrated, people.
Yeah.
He goes, he's overrated. I think he's just a pace merchant. I don't know what he just said. Ian's just a white Grizz, or is Grizz just a brown Ian? Mate, we've been having these discussions for about nearly a decade now.
I've got more hair.
All right, calm down, son. I mean, I've got more hair, fuck's sake. I'm better looking. So it is what it is.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I'm saying
evening, people. Yeah, he says I was young and foolish. Yeah, you're still foolish. That hasn't gone. People, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that routine stuff. As you know, we don't ask for nothing on this channel. We ask you to be polite. No, we don't even ask you to be polite. Respectable. Yeah, you can have a go at us. You can argue with us. You can shit on our opinions. But do it with a bit of class like I'm going to do on Ian. Watch. I'm going to shit on him with a bit of class and he's going to lose his rag. But listen, before me and Ian give our opinions and talk, the link is pinned in the chat. If you guys want to jump on and have a word with Ian or me, probably Ian, because fucking, you know, he thinks he's a fucking superstar tonight. Come on, have a chat. We can talk all things football. Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal. Who won the transfer window? Let us know what you think. Have we done enough? Are Liverpool ready? Gravenberch to be announced in exactly 50 minutes or so. What do you think about Gravenberch? What do you think about the rebuild? No centre-back. Will that cost? So many questions. I'll start off with you, man. What's happening? How do you think then? What was your aspirations at the start of the window, right? And then now it's come to the end of the window. It looks like we've brought in 4 players, all in the midfield. It's a bit of a mad one, isn't it? It's a bit of a weird one as well.
Well, maybe at the beginning of the window, like we didn't know we were going to lose Hendo. We didn't know we were going to lose Fabinho. So I thought at the end of last season, there's a tweet of mine knocking around saying we'll have a whole new midfield next year. But I still thought we'd have a couple of them knocking about. Do you know what I mean? Henderson was no longer fit for purpose, whether you like him or not. He was finished for us anyway. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And Fabinho, he probably had another year in him if you surround him with legs. Do you know what I mean? But he was like I've said before, he's slower than a week in jail, and he is slow. So if he's got no legs around him, he's badly outnumbered. You can get around him nice and easy. So if you're playing,
it was like me. Fabinho was like me in the back four. I was carrying you lot. Like I was like, there was a point where
he was never fat. He was never fat and stupid, mate. I wouldn't go that far.
What's the point? Do you know what I mean? I was like,
if you're playing Footy Manager and you're playing it on your own, you'd replace every midfielder we had last year. You'd replace.
Yep.
Well, real life's a little bit more difficult than that. So to bring in 4, 5, however many we were going for in the end, it's a massive overhaul. You need at least 3 of them to hit the ground running. No like bedding in period. You can't have 3 players bedding in at the same time. You know what I mean? Back in the day when we had Fabinho, we didn't play for the first 6 months. Yeah. Same with Robertson at left back, didn't play for 6 months. You can't have 3 midfielders now when they're all not playing for 6 months. So we fucking, you know what I mean? Who do we play? So it's a risk, but I think it's a necessary risk. You take 40 million for Fabinho all day long. All day long, because I think he's secretly 38. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We know that. We know that. Me and you know that. We don't need to be ITKs. We know that, right? We know that.
Yeah.
He's 50.
Mate, Szoboszlai, if we're going to go through them one at a time, you go, Szoboszlai looks like he could be an absolute superstar.
Well, let's go back to the initial thing, right? So we knew Fabinho, we knew Naby, Milner, Ox. We knew they're not going to renew. They come to the end of their tether. Apart from Milner, all disappointing in their own way, right? I remember me and you had high hopes for Naby, right? We rated him as a player. Even Ox, I remember me and you agreed on Ox as well. Like we could utilize him, right? We got to admit, both flops overall. One because of lack of availability, right? Not through talent. Would you agree?
Well, mate, at the end of the day, we've lost like 3 midfielders out of that group. That it's not a loss at all because they're never fit. So, you know what I mean? You like see Naby, who's made out of chalk. You got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who he was never the same player after he'd done his knee against Roma.
He done with Ox. We'll give it to him because Naby just kept getting every kind of strain possible. Like there were strains we didn't even know about that we found out because of Naby, right? But with Ox, he got serious injury. So
yeah,
that's just different, isn't it? When you get a serious injury like that.
It's mad frustrating, Keita, because you can see he's got it. You know what I mean? He's clearly got ability. He's like one of those midfielders, the very rare who like gets the ball on the turn and can beat a man in midfield. There's not many of them knocking about. You know what I mean?
Do you remember on his debut against Palace away where he gets the ball, does that Cruyff turn, and then puts the ball over to Salah, and Salah nearly loves the keeper? We thought, wow, we've got.
Yeah, because he had a skill set that we didn't have in that midfield. Our midfield was just functional.
Yeah,
and he had something else. Unfortunately, he's made out of Rice Krispies, and it's not just the fact that he gets injured a lot. I don't think he's up for it. Do you know what I mean? I think some players will play through the odd strain or whatever. I just don't think he fancied it, and he was never built for Klopp football. It's as simple as that. So a bit like Thiago. Unfortunately, people don't always agree. I just don't think they're robust enough to get about the pitch in the way Klopp needs them to. Do you know what I mean? So. When Milner's a loss for different reasons. He's a loss because he's everything that he brought to the squad and the youngsters and the mentality that he's shown. And you know what I mean? He was an incredible pro, but you can't be relying on a 37-year-old. You shouldn't be getting 20, 25 games a season out of a 37-year-old at Liverpool. So him going, no big loss. You know what I mean? He'll be missed, but for different reasons. Henderson, not asked. Don't care. So the ones that have gone, how many first team players did we lose? How many?
So look, Fabinho. So then those 3 were never first teamers. We never considered them first teamers because you said they never played for us. How can we consider them? Bobby, right? But that's not the midfield. But Bobby decided that he wants pastures new. I was okay with it. I fucking love Bobby Firmino, but I was okay with it, Ian. I'm not gonna lie. He's another one of those ones that I just thought we've rinsed the shit out of him.
Yeah, and I don't think we'd seen the best of him for maybe 18 months, maybe. He's still got moments of quality. And when he comes off the bench, he's got something completely different than everyone else. Do you know what I mean? Because he's completely unique, isn't he? But if you take sentimentality out of it, where we all love Bobby, do you know what I mean? He's a mad bastard, isn't he? But if you take that out of it,
Get me some of the best times, Ian, watching him.
Of course, mate, of course. But
and you know what? I hate saying this. I hate doing these ones. But you realize how good he is when you see him live up. Now, I'm not doing one of those, I go to the match, right? And I'm a fucking special cunt. I'm just saying, it's true, though. When you see him, like, his touch, right? It's like, do you know, me and you think we've got a good touch, right? Yeah, we can control the ball. When you see this guy in action, when he's getting balls drilled at him and he's just majestic at his best. And you're right. We didn't see enough of that.
Mate, when you ask a player like Virgil van Dijk, who's the best player you've ever played with, and he says Bobby Firmino, then you listen to what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? That's high praise indeed, and he's got a skill set that he practically invented the false nine role. He perfected, or if he didn't invent it, he fucking perfected it. You know what I mean? So, but again, out of everyone that left, I don't really think any of them are like. It's not like we've sold a Coutinho back in his day. Do you know what I mean? Or we've lost a Stone Cold. Only if like we'll talk about Salah in a minute. But if we sold him, that'd be different. But Bobby was past it and wasn't starting many games anyway. Naby's never fit. Ox is never fit and past it because of his injuries. Milner's was dead old. Henderson wasn't going to start next season. So you get a lot of people saying, well, we've lost 8. We've only signed 4. But it's not just... It's about numbers on the minutes on the pitch. We've gained more than we've lost in terms of what will be available on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
This is it. So this is it. So we lose those numbers, right? And you're right. None of them are minutes. Apart from, here we go. This is where I think the window got complicated for us. I think we got caught off guard when the Fabinho and Hendo situation arose, right? So I think everything was under control because we knew them lads were leaving. We knew Bobby was leaving. We knew that we've got the firepower up front, not to find a forward. You know, we knew Diaz, Jota going to come back from injury, fingers crossed. And the rise of Ben Doak is going to be an absolute...
Yeah, he is.
He's a firecracker, isn't he? All right. I think we bring in McAllister. Well, let's touch upon McAllister. McAllister makes all the sense, right? Well, you're getting a World Cup winner for 35 million. We've robbed them clean. It's like that's the good old Liverpool old days where we go in sniper. We know what we're doing. We know what the price is. They can't say no to us. Jobs are good, and everyone else looks at us and think, "Oh, you absolute wankers! How did you do that?"
Mate, I think I've said to you, McAllister is someone like he's never blown me away. McAllister, I've always thought he's nice. He's a neat player. I said to you in a message a while back, he reminds me a little bit of Ronnie Whelan. He's like nice on the ball, gives him goals, gets about the pitch. Do you know what I mean? But since he's been at us, and I obviously watch him a hell of a lot more than I did when he was at Brighton, he's a much better player than I give him credit for. Do you know what I mean? And I think he'll be a hell of a player when he's got the right people around him and he's not having to play as a 6. Do you know what I mean? But for 35 million for him, it's scandalous. That's a scandalous.
He's a World Cup winner in the prime of his career. He's had 1.5 years of experience in the Premier League already. So everything makes sense. And is replacing, like, we knew we're signing a bona fide starter, right, in McAllister. He's not one of those that's going to come in and fight for his place. We knew we need someone who's going to play the majority, the bulk of the minutes that those guys played. And McAllister was definitely in that category, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, 35 mil, mate, honestly, that's silly. Especially when you look at someone like that Porter, it's just signed for Chelsea for 42.5 million today. And we've just got a World Cup winner for 35. And there's only 2.5 years difference. It's not like the 10 years apart, you know what I mean? So we do love a release clause, like, but thankfully we nail that one, do you know what I mean?
So we took, it's true, because that's a release clause. And then a second signing of the season turns out to be another release clause, slightly more expensive. Dominic Szoboszlai, perfected his name. Don't fuck with me. I'm not that same Chris Khan that you knew, right? I'm intercontinental now.
You're incontinent. That's about it.
All right. Intercontinental, mate. Dominic Szoboszlai, all right? Don't laugh, right? Because it's Dominic Szoboszlai. Because I'm going to say how I'm supposed to say it. I had a Hungarian journalist, all right, the other day, and he taught me how to say it. So Dominic Szoboszlai, Right?
Yeah.
You keep saying it until you get really pissed off and really get angry and swear at me. But I'll wait a bit more than McAllister. But from what we've seen so far, Ian, another gem.
Oh, mate, off the chart. We got him for 60 when our board are a bit reluctant to spend money. That's putting it kindly. Do you know what I mean? That release clause came to light that it was running out at, was it 12 o'clock? And I think they signed him in about 3 hours because they weren't fucking about and they thought, right, once that release clause is gone, add another 30 million on top of his price tag straight away. Do you know what I mean? And you get some players, like he's Hungarian, he's playing for Leipzig. Do you know what I mean? He's a good player, but they're not. It's not a particularly big country in football in terms. It's not a particularly good big side in Germany. So you would think he'd come and take a bit of time to find his feet and all that. Did he fuck? As soon as he stepped on the pitch, he was like, not only does he think he belongs here, he's gonna own the gaff, mate. You know what I mean? He's not fucking about. He's like, he's wearing a number 8. You know what I mean? He could wilt. No, he's the first player I've seen since Steven Gerrard for Liverpool who I think we've got another Steven Gerrard here. Do you know what I mean? Now that might be overboard, but there's just something about him. He can do everything. Do you know what I mean? He's a balls out on the pitch. He's never going to stop running. He's quick. His set piece delivery's mad. We haven't even seen the cannon of a right foot he's got at the minute, and we will see it. Do you know what I mean? Oh man, I've been excited over a signing for us for a long time, mate.
Mohammed says, like the stream, love the work. Grizz, only Liverpool channel I can enjoy. Thank you very much, guys. Over 200 of you guys in here. I know it's a Friday night. I know transfer deadlines happen, but who gives a shit about Sky Sports? You want to be on here chatting to me and Ian. I've got OG in the house. Get in here. Tell your friends. Share the stream. Let's have a chat. William knows what he's doing because I called him the Hungarian Gerrard this week, Ian.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I can see it. Though, like I've just said, I can see it.
So everyone's like, "Oh, shut up, Grizz, Hungarian Gerrard." I was like, "Okay, no problem." So I'm on a channel called the Big Six, right? Platform, right? You won't know. It's like modern thing. You're too old to know all this shit, right? Big Six, right? It's like all the rude boys and all that going on.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Right. So yeah, so like they all laughed at like because you know how I do it. I put it out there and I just went quiet. And they went, are we going to fucking let him get away with this? And they all started shouting. I said, look at the reaction from you lot. Why are you lot triggered? I think he's the Hungarian Gerrard. At 22 years old, Stephen, and this kid at 22, he's captaining his country, Ian, right? He's come in and played pretty much every midfield role for us. Have you noticed that?
Mate, he played 4 positions in his first game. Do you know what I mean? To the point where Klopp had to say in his press conference when we went down to 10 men, I had to tell him, rein it in a bit, you know what I mean? Stop getting all about the pitch and stop emptying your position. Now, who does that remind you of? Do you know what I mean? Who used to get told by Rafa constantly, hold your position. I don't care how fit you are. I don't care how good you are about getting around the pitch. Stop emptying the midfield, do you know what I mean? There's so many similarities. And listen, at the end of the day, it's easy to shit on our players, and people do it regularly on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Jordan Henderson was this, and fucking now it's like Robertson. Yeah, the way people talk, the way people are talking now, Robertson may as well be fired out of a cannon. Do you know what I mean? Curtis Jones been wrote off by everyone, so it's easy to shit on these players. So every now and again, why not go a little bit overboard about someone and get really excited about someone? Do you know what I mean? We've had cult heroes like your Origis and all that, but let's be honest, they're a bit gash. But we like them kind of because they're a bit gash. Do you know what I mean?
And there are gash.
Yeah. But yeah. Talking about your gash online. But mate, for once, let's go a little bit overboard. A couple places on the arse.
Come on, the Hungarian Gerrard, have it, mate. Come on, let's have it. Hungarian Gerrard.
Yeah, but it might bite us on the arse in the future, but I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? I think he wants the responsibility. Do you know what I mean?
Dario's in the building. He says the Fatback 4 was and still is a boss football pod, as is Khanage. Big up, lads. All I'm saying is keep your eyes and ears and nose and everything else peeled. You never know. You never know what's around the corner. Contract talks. I'm not quite piff backed, but I'll put in a decent offer and then see how we go from there. Adam who is, I believe, the man on Twitter who does all the plane tracking. He says, I can put away the plane tracking radar for a few months. You can, Adam. You can indeed, mate. That's us done. Grizz, I'm a main man, Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai. What does that mean then?
I think he's I don't know. I think he's saying buzzing and Szoboszlai at the same time.
Oh, I get you. I get you. I get you. See?
Or he's having a stroke. It could be any of the three. Do you know what I mean?
It could be any of the three. People in the studio in the chat, I know you're probably waiting. I'm not going to be allowing callers quite yet. So I'm just going to remove you lot. Don't feel offended, but we're just sort of getting into the groove of things slowly. And then I'm going to start letting people in. Got a couple of super chats I want to get through. Dylan says, honestly think we could have a potential 2021 crisis at centre-back. Mad how we haven't addressed that, even with just a body on loan. Ian, we're going to have to address it. I am absolutely astounded that we haven't addressed the centre-back situation. Not even necessarily centre-back, even a fullback sort of cover, like anything. Because look, we're relying on Ramsey was supposed to be the understudy, right? He's injured. Then it was Connor Bradley. He's out now for quite a bit, right? Now we're relying on Joe Gomez not to only cover Konate and Matip, but to cover Trent as well. And then Konate is already doing the work of free man, right? And then you've got Joe Matip. Now, give me your honest opinion on Joe Matip. I've been very harsh on Joe Matip in recent times. When I say harsh, I think I've been honest and truthful. Ian, Joe Matip, I fucking love. Again, one of my OGs, giving us the best times of our lives. Joe Matip has been a character, a personality, free transfer, and a legend. But he's a difficult watch now, Ian. He's a difficult watch, lad.
Mate, I think he's always been a difficult watch because he's like fucking spaghetti on ice, and he got away with it because he's always better than he looks, if you get me. He always looks like he's an accident waiting to happen, but I think he was much better than I really thought he was when we first got him. Now I think he's suited to playing in a back three where he's got cover all around him. I think if you're putting him in a back four, or sometimes the back three that we're doing where Trent empties into midfield and he's got to cover 60 yards of space, he's not fit for purpose. He can't do that. He can't get about the pitch. Do you know what I mean? He's easy to turn, but he's making, I don't know, like fundamental errors where the ball's going underneath him or through him, and I don't really get it. But listen, if you're out of contract in 12 months and the club aren't renewing you, then there's the clue that you're not good enough now if they don't want you in 12 months. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're going to go off a cliff, they're thinking, right, he's okay, he can probably get by just for now. We don't want him in 12 months. If they're thinking that, then he can't, in my opinion, he's probably not good enough now. Do you know what I mean? But and throw in the fact that he can't stay fit. So you throw that in as well.
Everything, but look, Ian, you're talking about playing him in a back three. I'm not even sure of that anymore. Like, he definitely can't play on the flanks of a three. So if he plays in a three, you got to play him in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You'd need people around him. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how you get away with it. But I mean, I'm mad surprised we haven't gone for a centre back or a left-sided or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Defender. Like,
yeah,
even in midfield, the 4 midfielders that we've bought, 3 of them are literally creative attacking outlets, right? Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch. We'll get on to Gravenberch. Endo, see, I've got a feeling. Now, people might not like it. I'm just giving you my opinion. I have a feeling he's going to be used as an auxiliary defender, Ian. At times. Like,
I hope not. But what is he, 5'10"? 5'10", new to the league and a specialist midfielder. To buy him and then expect him to slot into a very, very unique back line as well, the way we play.
Man.
Oh, man, I wouldn't fancy his chances. But
this is what I'm saying. So then, look, like, we know Konate is an absolute beast and I love him. But he gets injured. For example, Verge's out. We're playing Ollie Watkins, Musa Diaby and Matty Cash, who looks like a fantastic player now, where we got Matip and Gomez on Sunday in defence.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah, do you?
Now, imagine Gomez gets a strain. We're looking at Kwanzaa, right?
Yeah.
How did we not? Why did we not see this and address this? It's like 2021 crisis.
Mate,
I think we're covered everywhere else. I'm very happy.
There's no way they haven't seen it. So you've got to wonder why they haven't addressed it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not having that. Klopp doesn't look at our back line and think, right, we've got 4 centre halves. 3 of them or 2 of them are injury prone, can't play 2 games a week. So you're only 1 injury away from Verge from being fucked for the season, which is what happened last time when he got done against Everton. So there's no way Klopp can't see that. All right, you might really rate that Kwanzaa coming through because he's got the build and the physicality and stuff that he might really rate him. And I think he might do well in certain, maybe in the Europa. Do you know what I mean? But you wouldn't want to have to say to him, right, you've got 15 games in the league now in a row. I'd shit myself, but yeah, it seems very short-sighted. But at the end of the day, you only really know after the event, don't you? If we don't get an injury between now and October or whatever, or January, whatever.
Yeah, I think we're looking. I think we're trying to look at it to survive.
Yeah, you don't really know.
Why? It's fucking frustrating, man. We always do the bare minimum. Now, even though we've spoken about 4 midfielders we've bought, honestly, that was the bare minimum because of the players that have left us, and then add to that Fabinho and Henderson, who were scheduled to give us another year of loads of minutes, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
We had to bring in 4. 3 of them are starters, in my opinion. Endo's a utility man, stroke Milner, stroke Henderson, call it what you want. The other 3 pretty much are nailed on to play the majority of the games. Add Curtis Jones and Elliott. Curtis Jones, another. All right, we've got to talk about Thiago Alcantara. Like, what's the point of being a genius if
Mate, right, I said this on Twitter about 12 months ago, and I got a load of shit for it, right? Because you're not allowed to say anything negative about Thiago. It's not his ability and the fact that he is a Rolls Royce. But what good is a Rolls Royce that's never off your fucking parking lot? You know what I mean? He's not fit. He's never fit. And the worst thing is, he weren't particularly fit when he was at Bayern either. He's always picked up injuries, always. So if we're looking at him playing maybe 20 games a season, then maybe. Do you know what I mean? But you can't look at him and go, right, he's going to play 50 games a season, because I don't think he's ever done it. And he's 32, so it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Do you know what I mean? But when you're saying there about the three midfielders starting, I presume you mean Gravenberch starting. I think Endo will play more than Gravenberch.
true.
At the beginning. But,
yeah, true. But that doesn't make sense as well, though, is it? Like, he's come to play.
I still think he'll get enough, because he's going to be first rotation out of any of those midfielders, and they're not all going to play every week. So if you take one of them out, he'll play. If you take the other one out, he'll play. If you take, you know what I mean? He's going to get more than enough. But I think when I look at like the profile of what he's signed, it seems a bit mad that he hasn't signed another defensive mid. So, and I can't see Gravenberch starting over Elliott or Jones. So I think he's possibly bought Gravenberch to try and turn him into like a 6.5. Do you know what I mean?
I was thinking that.
Yeah, a 6.5. A bit like when he got Ronaldo, and I was like, well, we don't play with a 10, and then he turned him into a fucking belter of an 8. Do you know what I mean? He likes to do that, and I think he's got the skill set to do that. So, but yeah, we've left ourselves short in a couple of areas of the pitch. Like, we completely regenerated the forward line, no problem whatsoever. Midfield, I think we're good to go now. Like, except, I mean, if Endo gets an injury, then we're right back to square one. And we don't even know how good he is yet, let's be honest.
There is a few question marks, but let me share my screen, because it seems to be people are letting me know in the chat that Gravenberch is being announced or has been announced. Let's see if it's true. No, not yet, but we'll do it now. We'll share the screen and see who tweets it first. But we've got Arsene Aloknath Wenger says, your views on Man United signing the Moroccan Johnny Sins.
Is that Amrabat?
Yeah. I think he's all right, you know.
No, I don't. I think he's dog shit.
Oh,
And you know, I've
shit.
said it since day one because that man has been available for 18 months and everyone needs DMs. They're on Vogue at the minute, aren't they? And no one's gone near him. Mate, Saudi Arabia, like, are buying people for fun. He's Muslim, isn't he? And they don't want him.
They don't want him.
If Saudi Arabia don't want to sign a Muslim, then you're shit.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, you are shit. So
Nah,
yeah.
listen, nah, I'm not having it. He's not shit, but I know what you mean. He's not great.
Mate,
I would have taken him though, but that shows you the levels of desperation Liverpool fans are
I was
at.
just about to say, he's the type of player we would have signed 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Whereas United are there now.
Lucas Leiva.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lucas Leiva.
Mate, United have signed Johnny Evans again, so mate, that tells you all you need to know. So
don't forget Reguilon they've signed as well today, people.
Mate, they're fucked.
If there's any Man United fans, in the chat, let us know what you think of your business.
They paid 70 million for that. Is it Sholand, however you say it?
Yeah.
Hasn't he got 8 goals in his life?
Yeah, in his life. He's got 8 goals in his life. They love getting smashed up in the market.
Mate, an extra 20 million, and they could have had Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Just behave yourself. Like, they're funny, them. So whenever you're having a bad day, just look at them signing fucking Johnny Evans or whoever.
Before we carry on, there's a channel member in the chat. Ian, I've got to say, right, he's having a go at me in the private. He said, Grizz, I'm from India. He thinks I'm being racist. I'm not letting him on because he's from India or something. Come on, RSI, let's have a chat. He's only a young lad. RSI, put your camera on and we'll have a little chat. Actually, you don't have to put your camera on as long as your audio is working. I'll get you on in a few minutes, lad. But you're in the presence of royalty here with Ian. So don't be like that. Don't be like that. I'll let you on. I was gonna plan to have a call in, then I'd change my mind, and then but go on. You're a channel member, so you deserve it. I'll get you on in a couple of minutes. Thing says that's disrespectful to Lucas.
I think it was disrespectful to Lucas, actually. Yeah.
Don't even. Lucas was dog shit, right? We can say that now. He was.
Mate, I watched him pocket Yaya Toure in one game. Do you know what I mean? And that was when Yaya was it was like Yaya was like played Space Jam against loads of midgets. You know, when he just owned the world.
Yeah.
And he pocketed them. And then he got his bad injury and he changed. You know what I mean? He was never world class, but he was decent. He was better than you're giving him credit there.
Not having it. I'm not. I love again. Top bloke. We only have top blokes at Liverpool anyway, so we haven't had many cunts anyway. But footballing wise, please, like Lucas Leiva, like.
Oh, mate, yeah, you're on a much higher level, but I still think there's ways. I think Amrabat, don't rate him at all. Like,
well, let's hope it doesn't come back to haunt us. Fucking.
Well, what is he? Isn't Amrabat 28?
Yeah,
he's 28. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I think they've got him on a loan or something. Lads, let me know in the chat, lads or lasses, whoever's in the chat.
Yeah, it's a loan with an obligation, but I seen the bid they put in yesterday was a £2 million loan, 1 million till January, and then another million afterwards if they wanted to keep him.
Mental.
Mate, I've got to be worth at least 500k if that's what's going round. You know what I mean?
I think so. Salam, I just watched the Saudi Clasico. Etihad took 1-0 lead, but Hilal won 4-3. Mitrovic hat-trick. Fuck. A derby spectacle. I hear why Salah's wanted. Mitrovic going there as well. He could have done a job in the Premier League still. I like him. He's a bit of a beast. He gives me. That's who he reminds me of. Old days. Me and you can relate. Steve Bull. He's a proper.
Yeah, now Steve Bull was better than him, mate.
You don't rate Mitrovic.
Steve Bull scored a lot of fucking goals, man.
Yeah, but so did Mitrovic. He's that shitty Fulham.
Not really. He had one alright season in the Prem and done well in the Championship. But how old is he? He's 30, isn't he? 29, 30. Mate, he's just seen a big payday.
Yeah. Of course,
don't blame people like that going, you know what I mean?
Well, Liverpool have just tweeted, I've been told, let's get the screen dump. Have we got a Liverpool? Oh, we have. 1 second, guys. Oh, you know me and technology. 1 second. What does this mean then, Ian? Does this make any sense to you guys? There we go. This is what Liverpool have tweeted. What's this mean? They've just tweeted that to start off with.
I think that means someone like you's running the account, to be honest.
What does that mean? Anyone know what this means? They've like done the exclamation marks and they've done this. Let's see what the next one is. Surely there's more to that than that. People have worked it out. What does that mean, guys? Are me and Ian slow?
Well, one of us is.
Well, go on. What's it say? It's the studio, they're saying. X marks the spot.
Oh, is he going to just walk on? Like the world's worst treasure hunt?
People explain to us, me and Ian are proper stupid. Like, we're old school.
That's the new centre back we've bought.
Hey?
That's our new centre half.
No, no, but what's he doing? Like, what's this mean, guys? It's a watch this space, it's saying. Oh, recreating the chair announcement. Are they? Is this what it means, guys? Refresh, lads, he's saying. All right, let's see what's happening with the refresh. Let's see what it means now. Is there something updated, people? Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Here he is. There he is. I tell you what, everyone looks amazing in our kit, don't he?
Mate, I was a bit worried. I thought he was in a wheelchair.
You'd look good in this. You know that? I reckon even you'd look good in this kit.
Mate, but I'd need a fucking shoe on to get out of it, though.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You know what I mean?
Oh, look at him.
Mate, I've got high hopes for him. I was a big fan of Ajax.
Oh, look at him.
But I love Ajax, though. I loved like the kids they bring through and that, you know what I mean? And he was one of the best. So yeah, I've got high hopes for him.
Amazing, amazing. What's the bike thingy, Bob? Anybody know? Welcome spelled with I'm sure that's Dutch, right? Anybody know what the significance of this is? It a bike? What is this? Well, you won't know. It's an exercise bike. What the fuck would you know about exercise bikes?
I think you're giving it large. Fucking. You only go to the gym for the vending machines, you fat cunt.
But what's the significance about that then? Do you reckon?
Fuck knows. Mate,
we're being stupid. We're being stupid. Oh, we're being so stupid. Ian, we've lost it, me and you. Do you remember he done the old pose?
No.
Yes. Yeah. I'll get it. Yeah. It's an old pic from me. I got it. I've worked it out. Let me find the old picture of where he recreated. I'll get it, guys. I've worked it out in a minute. Give me 1 second. Yeah, me and him work out. So basically, years ago, he put a picture up on it with the old Liverpool kit on
when he was a kid.
Not even when he was a kid, but like a few years ago. I'll find it up now. 1 second, guys. But yeah, so go on. Fan of him, right?
Yeah. I think it's a bit mad people writing him off because he hasn't got a game at Bayern. Some people just don't fit. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like they haven't got a good midfield, mate. He's behind Joshua Kimmich, Goretzka. Who else have they got? Do you know what I mean? Now,
Lima.
Well, they've just signed him yet, mate.
Lima. But you know what? They've left themselves short, you know.
Yeah, they have, and they've had a few knockbacks last minute in the window there. I think
that's the one. That's the picture, lads. So basically, yeah, he done that pose, and they had to recreate it. Yeah. I get it, guys. All right, stop telling me off. Grizz, you had a pick with LFC jersey on the part. I've worked it out. It took a few minutes, but I've worked it out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we got there in the end. I told you, me and Ian are not the.
Hey, mate, you can't have a go at me. I've never seen that original picture.
I'm having a go at you, son. Anything I get labelled with, you're getting it with me. Yeah, look. In isolation, I like him. The only problem, the only headache from a lot of fans is the profile, what was needed. Now, I think we were so close to having a magnificent window. It's just frustrating that we're lacking just the profile of a defensive-minded player, not necessarily a centre-back or a full-back, but a defensive-minded. Like all of these guys that we've mentioned, apart from Endo, their natural inclination is to get the ball and attack or think, create or go forward.
That's Klopp, isn't he? That's just Klopp. He's signing players in his own like wheelhouse, isn't he? But no, I agree, mate. I agree. But I think we had that week and a half where we got fucked around something chronic and we looked stupid with Caicedo and Lavia. I think if you take that out and you go back to the beginning of the window and you go, right, all this is going to happen we're not going to go for those two players. We're not asked, would you be happy with the players you've brought in midfield? I think most people would be happy. Do you know what I mean? I'd have been happy. So I know what you mean. Like, but mate, the prices, like Decore, 80 million, not in a million years. No way. Not even close to worth that. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather we bought a project for 30 mil who can potentially, I mean, that's buying money these days. He's 21. He's going to be in the...
You know what? I was shocked. I remember that he's 21 only.
I don't forget, it means...
I think he's about 23, 24 now.
Well, mate, he was in the Ajax team at 17. But, like, I mean, it doesn't matter now because we didn't sign a centre-half, but signing him meant we could still sign another non-homegrown player because he was under the age limit.
Yeah, and this is the frustrating thing that we still didn't do it because we could have. You know what I mean? Yeah, look, plenty of pictures with him, you know, from Amsterdam to, here we go, just lovely pictures about him. It's quite a story from Amsterdam to Anfield. Do you know what I mean? There you go, people.
I mean, and they're a good fit for Liverpool, a bit like Leipzig and all them. Do you know what I mean? It's similar type of styles, similar type of multifaceted players. Klopp likes that. Do you know what I mean? Can occupy a couple of different roles. And they like I said, he come through the first team at Ajax, mad young, mate. So he
was in that caliber of player where he was sort of labelled with the Judes, with the Schumanis, with the Musialas. You know, he was a wonder child. He was a wonder kid.
And we wanted him when he went to Bayern as well. So at least there's consistency there. Do you know what I mean? We haven't just.
It's definitely got the fingerprints of Jurgen Klopp.
No, all day. And Linders as well, apparently. Linders is a big fan. Do you know what I mean? Whatever that means. But, mate, like I say, he's 21. Like, what's the worst that can happen? 18 months, we don't want him. We still get our money back. It's a complete no-brainer, do you know what I mean, as far as I'm concerned. Especially when you see the money getting launched around. And our owners, they love 30 to 50, 30, 40, 45. That's their wheelhouse, isn't it? Yeah. They don't really like going 70.
That's our hotspot, isn't it? That's our hotspot.
Yeah, that's what they like. So they've seen him. To be honest, mate, at one point I thought he was going to be cheaper because they were talking about them just getting the money back.
Well, I tweeted at the start of May that we actually put in an opening bid of about 20 million because we try it like that, and then they tell us to flop. And then we knew we're gonna just wait until the end of the window and see how we get on. Let's get the first caller on the end. Let's get through some calls, see how they're saying. He hasn't got his camera on, but let's see what it says. Hello, RSI, how are you and where are you calling from, my friend? You're on mute. That's a great start.
On mute, mate.
First of all, you are not a racist. Sorry for that.
No problem.
I'm from India. You are community man.
Thank you.
See, I follow you from Big Six and from last 2 years, and I know you.
Thank you very much. You know what it is? I was gonna have a call in, but then I got a superstar on the show.
See, I have a notification on in laptop. Call-in show.
This is Ian. He's a superstar. He's an OG. Me and Ian used to do podcasts about 7 years ago. We started off doing a podcast with him, and then I became very famous and very good looking, and a lot of people big contracts from Sky Sports, BT Sports, and then he got jealous, and then we divorced for a little while, but now we're back.
I think he is the first time. I think I am seeing first time in this channel.
Yeah, on this one, yeah. But me and him, we go back years. Yeah. He's the original. But how are you? Which team do you support? Remind us again. What do you want to speak about?
LFC, Liverpool.
Oh, okay. Talk to us.
LFC Liverpool from last 10 years.
How are you feeling?
Not good. Good, but not excellent.
Good, but not excellent.
We could done better. We could done much better.
Which area?
This signing will be one centre back and one defensive midfielder. Purely defensive midfielder. Not attacking or purely defensive midfielder. But Gravenberch was excellent signing because he got that physicality which Wijnaldum brings. McAllister and Szoboszlai, yes, they are good offensive and excellent ball players, but this Gravenberch brings physicality, that center position to the midfield. Endo, I think Endo will be Europa League in Carabao Cups. He will play that, but the main I think Gravenberch will be play six. I think he is the main six for our season.
Yeah,
He is the
possibly,
main six.
possibly, or he may try to convert. And me and Ian were just talking about this. Ian, I've got a feeling he may try to. RSI, thank you very much for calling in. Was there any other points that you wanted to make? Because I'm going to start getting some more callers in.
Other point was we need to sign centre back, but it is not. I think we don't. We are one injury away from a horror season.
Don't panic.
One injury away from horror season.
Christmas is ruined.
Don't panic. It's not that bad. It's not that
no,
bad.
No. Grizz. Van Dijk was not. He's not a priest level.
Who?
Van Dijk. Virgil Van Dijk.
Uh-huh.
He's not up to level. Gomez injury prone. Konate injury prone. Matip, you know. You only before the show you only saying that he's off.
Yeah, Matip.
One injury. Only one injury away from. See, in Big Six also, all are saying all are focusing on our centre backs only.
Well, it's a risk.
I think, if you see, if the centre back solutions was solved, we will see the full force of Liverpool. That 1920 season where we won the cup, where we won the Premier League, that was the year where the defense was not a problem.
It is.
The defense was there. And we can go and attack and 4-0, 5-0, it will be happen. But in this team, it will not happen because we have. If you're scoring 4, we're considering 2 or 3 easily.
Let's see how it goes. We don't know.
Yeah, I will be there.
Exactly. You will be there. I will be there.
Thank you very much
for calling in, my friend.
Thank you.
No problem. It is a risk in it. Like whatever way we look at it, it is a risk. It's a risk that I don't know why we're taking it. Unless he thinks that Konsa's ready. That's my only other solution. My only other thinking. They think Konsa's the
well, mate. Even if they do think he's ready, and he's not, but even if they do, he's not left-sided.
He's not left-sided.
So
he played there one. He played in pre-season one half there.
Yeah, and he looked ropey as fucked up. I mean, to be fair, when he's playing in pre-season, he's playing with all the other also runs, and so there's no continuity there or any of that. But don't get me wrong, mate. He looks like Van Dijk. He's 6'2", 3". He's only a kid. He's a tank.
I think he's taller than Van Dijk.
He's a tank. He's quick. So he's got the profile. But like I say, do you want to rely on that? No, you don't. I think he'd be all right again alongside Van Dijk, where he's schooling him along. But if you've got to put him in instead of that, well, not against some of the strikers in the Prem, mate. Do you know what I mean? Haaland against him, behave.
He's it's not pretty. Haaland against.
He's just not ready. He's just not ready.
Someone's just saying Al Fayed passed away. Just seeing. Is that the Fulham owner?
Mohammed
Al
as in Harrods.
He's not. Oh, Harrods. Yeah. He's not the Fulham owner now, is he?
No, that's Tony Khan, isn't it?
It's my uncle now, isn't it? It's my uncle now.
Yeah, he's an arsehole as well.
Yeah. It's a lovely moustache though.
Oh yeah, he is rocking it. He owns about 3 teams in the States, doesn't he? Or like
American he's mentalist. He's an absolute mentalist. Here's a question for you. FPL Alexander Arnold says, Grizz, Ian, who would you have as the eventual replacement for Mohamed Salah? We're gonna have to address this at some situation. Well, I guess a perfect segue into it. Mad money coming in for Mohamed Salah. We're gonna have to address this. Who is the replacement for Mohamed Salah? Let's get the next caller in. I'm going to bring in Michael. Maybe he might want to talk about this as well at the same time as we do. Michael, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well.
I'm good, Grizz. How about you? It's been a long summer, bro. It's been a long summer. Thank God it's over.
Is it really over? I don't know. Where are you? Where are you first and foremost? Are you back in Finland?
Yeah, I'm back in Finland. I mean, I'm rocking the Uruguay jersey. Shout out to Darwin. I had to wear it now because Darwin actually showed up for a game, bro. We had a long discussion last season, Grizz. I remember about Nunes. second season, I'm gonna give a chance to him. He's got to perform now, but he needs opportunities. He can't just be coming off the bench each and every time. He's got to start games. But yeah, now I'm back in Finland, back in the cold, and this transfer window has been a hectic one. I mean, being in South America for a month, I got away from the news. And then coming back to it, it just kept going. Link here, link there. We're gonna sign this guy. We're gonna. But now it's finally over.
Go on, give us your overall opinion on the transfer window. 4 players signed, all in midfield, none in attack, none in defense, and no goalkeeper. What do you make of it after all of that?
To be honest, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think, look at the midfielders that we signed. Look at the quality. McAllister for 38 million. That's a steal. Szoboszlai for 68 million pounds. Is that correct? 68, I think it is. 65. I think he's an absolute steal. I think Szoboszlai is going to be a beast for us for many years to come. I think he's an excellent player. Endo, I'm not a fan of the signing.
What do you know about Endo? You know much about him?
That he's played for a low block team. He just broke up play, and that's all he pretty much did. And he's a captain and he's leader.
Lucas Leiva, I told you. But yeah,
he's basically a Lucas Leiva. I'd actually pretty much... He's a carbon copy of Lucas Leiva, but I think Lucas Leiva was better than Endo. But, got to give a chance to Endo, and he's a good squad player, and, maybe brings more leadership to the team. And now we signed Gravenberch. Look, I rate Gravenberch highly. I just think he's the wrong profile.
I think that's the frustration, right?
I think that's the frustration of the whole fan base. Like, we've been linked to DMs. We've been linked to Lavia, Caicedo. We didn't get those done. And then we go for an 8. I don't understand the planning here by Klopp. Because Klopp is definitely talking with the scouting and everything. And he's like, you know what? Let's not go for a 6. Let's get an 8. And maybe... I don't know what we're going to play, Grizz. We're playing Russian roulette football at this moment. We're just going to have to outscore teams.
Like Ian said, I think that's Klopp, right? This is pure Klopp fingerprints.
Yeah.
We were discussing, I don't know what you think, has he got the attributes to convert him into what he done with Ginny? Like, remember Ginny was bought as a 10.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry, 10, and he played on the wing for Newcastle.
For Newcastle, yep.
And then we know how he converted Henderson from a right winger. Henderson was essentially a right winger, right? Do we see, because I had a couple of lads on from We Talk Ajax when I knew of the Ryan Gravenberch interest, and they said the most that they can see him fitting into our system in terms of defensive is in a double pivot.
Yep.
Alongside.
That's when he had Edson Alvarez next to him at Ajax.
So he played with Edson Alvarez, who was a pure DM, right?
Yep.
Who can play that role at Liverpool with him then, do you think, guys? Can he play with a McAllister? For Ian, can you envisage him playing with a McAllister if we were to change system?
What, in a 2?
In a 2.
I wouldn't put my mortgage on it, but we'll be good when we've got the ball. But
it's off the ball, innit?
It depends who you're playing. Do you know what I mean? If you're in the Europa playing FC Sheriff's Badge, then you're good to go. Do you know what I mean? You'll have the ball all game. But if you're away at City and they're going to have 60%, 65% possession, no, you need a pure. Liverpool would be. I was only saying something the other day before his eye injury. Momo Sissoko. That's who Liverpool needed. Just a big, athletic breaker up of play. That's it. That's what we needed. Do you know what I mean? Endo might do a good job, but he's not. He doesn't fit He doesn't. I think if you could give Gravenberch Endo's skill set right now, Klopp would bite your hand off.
100%.
6'4", 6'4", can get about the pitch. I think he's trying to, you know what I mean, almost meld a bigger version of him out of Gravenberch. I reckon that's what we're going to look at happening.
There's a lot of people.
Grizz, can I ask you a question? Sorry, why did we not just pay the money for Lavia? Were we just not sold on him, or what was like? Why did we not just pay it up? Because that's what I was so frustrated by the whole situation.
When I was talking about Ian, do you remember just before we let the callers in, and I was saying I think we were so close to having an 8 out of 10 window. What would have made an 8 for me would have been replace. And look, I'm not shitting on Endo. Of course not. We're going to give him a chance. He's played 2 halves with 10 men. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, give the guy a break, right? So, no problem. But imagine, instead of Endo, we've got Lavia, which was the first choice, right? Imagine Lavia, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai. That would have been a magnificent rebuild, right? So we were so close to having an 8 out of 10. Endo just gives it a 6/7 for me. And that's harsh on Endo, but I'm just being honest. Lavia, again, Ian, like you was talking about project, he would have been a project. And he was initially being built as a project anyway. He was going to play a season under Fabinho while he learned the trade. And then Fabinho would have been like given his TFL license, can't do his Uber next year. And Lavia would have been coming in. Do you know what I mean? So that was the plan anyway. Lavia, I think we've dropped an absolute clanger when we got greedy. Not greedy. When we saw that there's a possibility of Caicedo, because let's not beat around the bush. We all would. If there's a chance to sign Caicedo, you do it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You can't not try.
He was the one, Grizz.
We just got played.
We got played.
We got lured into a bidding war, which forced Southampton's hand, which forced Chelsea's hands up the ante. We got 100%. Played, and that's what cost us Lavia, because we took our eyes off the original prize and went somewhere else.
Absolutely, exactly that. And you don't even blame Lavia for that, really.
No, because by all accounts, he was good to go. And we just fucked around. Went, hang on, you wait there a sec. We're going to go and sign something bigger and shinier. That didn't work out. Oh, come on, we'll have you now then. I wouldn't have signed.
No, he didn't sign. I mean, look, we had it all wrapped up with Lavia. Absolutely all wrapped up. It was just a matter of a few million that we were just trying to play clever with. And sometimes we try to be over clever and it does come back to haunt us. But Gravenberch is the news today, Michael. I genuinely believe, guys, I think we're going to try and mold him into...
Yeah, I think he's going to be a 6.
That suits us. Because I think he can do it, but it's going to take a season of transition. Now, Liverpool fan base, can we bear a season of transition of him learning? Now, obviously, it would have been amazing if he had Fabinho to learn under.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling he can do it, guys.
I hope he can, Grizz. I think he's a talented footballer. I think he's been done dirty at Bayern because he's not been given a chance under. It was no chance under Nagelsmann. He didn't play him. Tuchel didn't rate him at all. I mean, he's playing Goretzka. Then they're signing Leimer. Like, Gravenberch must be looking around and thinking to himself, "What am I doing here? If you're not playing me in front of these two guys, you're not going to give me a fair shot when I'm probably more talented."
He's played 20 minutes in 4 games this season.
Yeah, he only had 3 starts last season, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did. So I think he's a talented footballer. Is he a 6 when I watch him play? No. I don't think so. But let's see if he can be molded. See, we got to be patient with Gravenberch. I think he's going to have not a lot of mistakes, but he's going to have costly mistakes that are going to lead into chances for the opponents and goals. So then fans are going to blame him and be like, see, we should have gotten a 6. We should have gotten a 6 instead of, we just got to give him time. For me, I don't think we're in a title race because defensively we are not strong enough. That's a key point for me, is that we're too easy to play against. How many chances did we give to Bournemouth? Easy chances from our own mistakes, really. Funny enough, the last 2 goals have just been mistakes from our own half.
Yeah, just been our mistakes.
It's just, we got to be in the mindset as well. In the first 15 minutes in both games, I think we've been really lazy. After the first 15 minutes, okay, that's crazy talk right there.
I'd love, mate, D23, if he's like 60%.
Do we not know who Vieira was? Yeah, come on, people. Yeah. Vieira was an absolute baller. But I think...
I don't know, man. I've never been a fan of Gravenberch's defensive work.
Agreed.
I've always been, that's his weakness. That's my point with him. He's just not tuned in. He gives me Trent vibes when it comes to defensive.
He's very reckless off the ball as well. Tackling and everything. Very reckless player. So if he gets a red card, I wouldn't be shocked this season. Straight red?
Hold on. This is what I was going to come to.
Okay.
You know that recklessness... right? I get it at the moment because he's young and he's big and he thinks he can get to everything. But if he can utilize that aggression and coached, as long as he's got that aggression, because you're fucked if you haven't got it.
Yep.
Like Naby Keita didn't have it. Ian was talking about it earlier. Naby Keita just hasn't got that aggression.
No.
So, woo, yeah, right. If Gravenberch has got that aggression, but is just ill-timed, not coached, not molded, groomed, I think there's something to work with, guys. Or maybe I'm just getting excited for no reason.
Not just that, mate. Not just that. There's very few motivators in this world bigger than trying to prove someone wrong, right? And he's just been left on the sidelines for 12 months there. When he's gone there, is the next big thing, let's be honest. Or one of the next big thing.
And he's been left behind.
And he's been left there. Now he's got a huge chip on his shoulder with a point to prove, do you know what I mean? So that's going to motivate him, and he's working with Klopp, who fucking ignite the fire in the most placid of people, do you know what I mean? So I'm hopeful, mate. I mean, do I see a six in him now? No, but I didn't see a centre midfielder in Wijnaldum when we signed him either. So Klopp sees things that we don't, and that's why he's on £10 million a year and we're not. You know what I mean?
I mean, did we see a goal scorer like Salah when we got him from Roma? We could have never imagined it. So this is the thing with Klopp. He can turn little dusts into diamonds.
This is very much. So do you remember when he first made Liverpool, when he first came, right? And it was so exciting to watch us every week. Right? Do you remember? Let's go back to the first couple of seasons. It was breathtaking.
16, 17 was craziness at times.
Right? So now we all admit that he's making the team again, Liverpool 2.0, right? And he's doing things similar. So he's created the strikers, the strike force. We've got a variety of strikers, right? We all agree. Probably the strongest depth. Would you say our strike force is stronger than when we had Origi and Minamino as the
100%.
Yeah, 100%. We got Jota and Gakpo. Look at Jota. The guy can come off the bench and score. We got Nunes who can come off the bench and score. We got Gakpo who can assist and score.
An attack stronger than when we had the front three plus Origi and Minamino.
What I would say is our front three then were at a higher level of what we are now.
Yes, 100%.
But we've got a higher level right across the board, if you get me. Do you know what I mean?
The overall depth is...
Yeah. We've got 5, 7, 8 out of 10s, whereas we used to have 3 9s and 2 6s. Do you know what I mean?
And Minamino and Origi done their job, but a Shaqiri as well, you can add to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't forget those 2 goals he scored against Man United. So
yeah, exactly. So attack, depth, fine. Midfield.
It's just the DM's position that's just scaring me. So I went to go watch McAllister, his first club in Argentina, and I actually talked to some people who coached him because they were just working at the club, and they said, I told them I'm a Liverpool fan. They said, you guys have an absolute baller in your hands. But they said that he's not a 6. That's one of the first things they told me. He cannot be a defensive midfielder. He needs to be the guy who can transition from the defense to the attack. He needs to be the 8. I don't think he's going to work in the 6. I hope Klopp just, please don't play him in the 6 position. He's not that sort of... I hope he's not. I think we got an absolute steal in McAllister. I absolutely love this player. I think he's just a gem. I think he really is going to elevate Liverpool to what we should be. It's just the DM position. I'm just scared to what sort of goals we're going to concede.
I'm surprised. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I was good with McAllister. I was okay with him, but I didn't think he's a game changer. What I've seen in his performances so far, his energy and his work rate has blown me away, guys. He's got the. I didn't know he's got that energy and work rate. I thought Caicedo would have done all that, and then he was just give me the ball. Do you know he's played like a couple of games? Obviously, we all know 10 men. His work rate and his tenacity has got me. I tell you, and if he can keep the ball, look, I want to ask you guys, where does Thiago fit in all this? Are we just going to use him as a...
He's going to just be a luxury player at this point. It's his last season, and
look at the amount of talent we've got.
I know.
Add to Thiago, Curtis Jones, Elliott, and to the 4 that we've just mentioned, that's scary ball retention right there.
But he can't stay healthy. The guy cannot stay healthy. It's just simple as that. I love the player. I love Thiago. He's probably our most talented midfielder.
Still.
But he's injured. If you're not available, then you're not available. Like, come on, you have to be available. That's my biggest issue with Thiago. A fantastic midfielder, one of the most talented players I've seen in Liverpool. Honestly, just his passing and everything, reading of the game makes it look so simple. But if you're not on the field, what's the point then?
So the question, guys, was the original question. Mohamed Salah, we have to start thinking about selling. Not selling. alternative substitutes. Don't know what your guys' opinions are. I'm not sure. Look, there's no way we let him go now.
No.
Right? Absolutely no way. It's impossible. Doesn't matter how much money's thrown in our faces. It's just not worth it. Because this is how I look at it, guys. Let's say 175 million now, or 100 million next year, because they'll definitely pay 100 million next year, right?
Easily.
Wages, we couldn't give a shit. That's between him and the club. Is us not risking Champions League without Mohamed Salah worth 75 million to us, Ian? Because essentially that's what we're doing.
Mate, I think it's even bigger than that. I think you're talking about your reputation as a big club. So if you've just sold your captain in Hendo, whether we wanted to keep him or not, they've just come and took our captain. So then 5 minutes to go before the end of the window, we've got one of the best players in the world, definitely the best wide right forward on the planet. I can't even get anyone even close to him. So, and our most potent weapon, 30 goals a season guaranteed. If you then turn around and say, regardless of how much they offer, we can be plundered by whoever's got the right amount of cash, then you're no longer, we're back to where we were when Barca used to come and take Suarez or even Coutinho or Alonso went to, we're back to that. We're not the upper echelons of football anymore.
Stepping stones.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like our owners don't need money. All right, they don't like to splash it, but they certainly don't need it. So if you sell your number one player, he's comfortably our best player, isn't he? He's got to be. If you sell him for no matter how much amount of money, then you're saying everyone's fair game, everyone. And I think that's more of an issue than how much you get for him or who you replace him with. Because I was racking my brain today, and I was thinking, I can't think of a single player in his position who gets 15 goals a season. Mahrez last year, and he's just gone to Saudi. So who else is there in Europe who looks like he could come in and get 15, 20 goals a season from that position? I can't think of anyone. You can think of them on the other side, but on the right side, left-footed coming in.
It has to be, guys, let's get one thing very, very clear. He's got to be left-footed, right?
He's getting, because we're overloaded with people who like to come in from the right. Yeah, we're overloaded. So the only wide player I can think of is the lad at Napoli who I love, and he's right-footed coming in from the left. Well. So I can't make it. There's a bad dearth of players in world football at the minute coming in from the right who stay fit and are prolific as him. There's no one. So what's the point in taking 175? What's the point in taking 200 million? And then you've got no one. Guy. Yeah, and you've got
Moussa Diaby from Villa, but he's just gone to Villa again. That would be
he looks good, but he's not 30 goals a season. This is my point. No matter who you bring in, is going to be a massive drop off. Exactly.
Exactly. What we have to do, there's no replacing Mo, is there?
We've got the replacement for him now. He's just 3 years too young.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So keep him another 12 months. We're still going to, we'll at least give yourself 12 months succession planning. Do you know what I mean? Not fucking 3 hours. Yeah. There's no way.
Michael, there's no, I don't think there's a like for like. Chiesa before his injury would have been my shout.
Yeah. But he's right-footed.
I love him, absolutely love him, but he's not been the same. I know some people think he's back, but there's no like for like. It'd have to be a system or a collective replacement. You know what I mean by collective? Yeah. Like goals have to come from Jota, Nunes.
Well, I think we're going to get more goals from midfield this season than we have in the last 5 years. Yep. So if you get an extra 10 goals from midfield, then you can get someone who gets 17, 20 goals from right mid, and then you've evened out. It's still very hard to find someone who's going to get you 20 goals from that position. Do you know what I mean? And not just goals. He scores for fun against the biggest teams on the planet. You know what I mean? He goes to City and takes the piss. Wherever he got Chelsea, he's not bothered. He's a big.
He owns player. Man United.
Oh yeah, all day. Everton. He just smashes a lot of them. You know what I mean? He's a big game player. So
massive game player.
He's worth more than money for Liverpool at the moment.
More than money. Where's it going? Hold on. Where's this one? Remy says, who says we are selling Salah? Why is the speculation about him? I don't know what plan. Remy, I don't know if you've just woken up from a coma or something, mate.
Or if you don't have social media.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing if he hasn't got social media.
That's probably a good thing, actually.
Michael, so, okay, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Is there a price that you can't say no to now? Because now means there's no one coming in until January. Unless there's a mad free transfer that we don't know about. Because apparently you can still do free transfers, right?
Yeah. I mean, Hazard is still available.
I hate to think how fat he is at the moment. Honestly, I'd hate to see it. Like,
what a downfall.
What a downfall. But Michael, saying that 200 million, right?
That's a lot. That's a lot. That would be the second highest transfer ever.
Okay. So then the second part of that question is, if you take it, you take it. So then you're looking to just survive with the squad that you've got until January.
Yeah.
And then you go in January to buy someone. Or you say no, and then you start planning ahead. Either way, who's in your head that comes to mind? Surely you've thought about this.
Grizz, I can't find anybody.
And I know honestly, you know your European football, or South American football. So scout your brain and your network. Come out with some names.
Grizz, trust me, I've been scouting my brain all around. I can't find anybody.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
So, I honestly would have said Moussa Diaby. Moussa Diaby would have been the one for me. But now he's went to Villa. So if we go get him next summer, he's probably going to cost like 130, 140 million easily. So that's going to be the problem.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Bowen?
No, not Bowen. He's a decent player, but not Liverpool level. Come on, let's be honest, people.
He's Liverpool players, guys. Liao, people are saying, all left-sided guys.
All left-sided guys.
We've got Luis Diaz. We've got Jota. We've got even Nunes can play on the right. We've got no one on the right.
Right, exactly. That's going to be the problem. There's a lot of good left-sided players, but there's no right-sided player.
Szoboszlai can play on the right.
He can, but it looks like we've got a game changer in midfield for the first time in many years.
Exactly.
So you do not weaken a strength to strengthen a weakness. Do you know what I mean? So you're no better off. You're no better off by doing that.
No, at the end.
No, he's got to prove more at Dortmund. He's got to prove more to me. He had a good couple months last season, and the first 2 seasons has not been his way at Dortmund. He's got to prove more before making that move.
What's going to happen though? This is it. This is what happens, and this is what happened with Mane. We started comparing Diaz's output and numbers because we're so used to the fucking freak that was Sadio Mane.
That's
right?
true.
And now what we're going to do is every player we're going to say, we're so used to the king, right?
The problem is, mate, we've never had that power in 100 years from right forward. So we're probably not going to get it again. So you need to. Have you seen the film Moneyball?
Of course.
When he's talking about replacing Jason Giambi, and he's like, right, we can't replace him, so we replace the output. So we'll sign 3 players who can replace that output. Yeah. That is what's going to have to happen. Liverpool are going to have to strengthen in other areas where you can pick up the shortfall of 30, 35 goals. Because there's no one on the right. There's no right forward out there. It's the one position.
Rafinha's gone down. Rafinha a couple of years ago was all the talk, all the things.
Barca fans want him out, by the way. They want him out. They're tired of him already. It's been 1 season.
Not really.
I'll tell you where I would have him. I mean, not now, but I'm just saying. To me, he was a fullback of the modern game. He hasn't got the creativity
of a fullback. Oh God, he would be roasted on that side.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like he's
like a Tellez then, basically.
He's the up and down merchant.
Yeah, pretty
Neto, much. Again, crazy injury, not the same again.
Yeah,
Neto a couple of years ago, the Wolves Neto was magnificent.
I mean, I'm a big fan, but again, he comes from the left though, really. So
Ryan Shirky,
very talented, but the output is not there. He's very talented. He's good player, very talented. The output is not there. But that's going to be the problem, Grizz. We're going to compare 30 goals a season for 5 consecutive, not just 1 season, for 5 consecutive years. Salah has been doing this. No one can. Unheard of. This is irreplaceable. So we're going to have to get 2, I think, talented guys. I see someone mention Bakayoko. Good shout. Shirky, great shout. But It's going to be very difficult. I think Salah's gone next season. By the way, I think next
no,
summer he's gone.
We all know that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All right,
for sure. So that's why we're trying to plan ahead. Like we're doing the scouting for them. Bakayoko, I haven't seen nothing of him. Right?
He's a very good player.
But PSV, I've got a history of producing good wingers. I think we will get Bakayoko, guys. Early shout. I think we'll get him.
I watched them against Rangers the other day.
I have no idea about him though, so fill me in what you thought. Because I've heard that we will get him. But I don't know nothing about him.
He's similar to Shirky. Very talented, but the output is not there. But he's super, super talented. Pacey winger, can beat a man, can combine. I want to see more from him. I'm actually quite happy that he stayed at PSV because now he's going to prove himself in the Champions League. So now we're going to see him up against Arsenal, Sevilla, and these teams. Yeah, exactly. We get to assess him and see, okay, is there a really good talent there? Mitoma, again, left-sided player.
Guys, come on, guys. You're normally in the chat. You lot are more...
all this is proven is what we're saying. There's a very small pool of players out on the right. It's like the one position in world football now where everyone's right foot are coming in from the left. So unless you play, like, I don't know, unless you put Nunes out there because he's rapid.
Or what about switching Diaz to the right? Would that be an idea too?
I like the idea.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have a season this year.
I think as well. I think he's looking very good so far. Yeah. I love Diaz, man.
And I think if you put him out to the right, there's very few people like Sadio Mane who's just as effective on both sides. Do you know what I mean? There's very few people.
Yeah, but he's got that dynamism. No. He's a good player, solid player. Hold on, I'm just going to add my mate Sass to the stream, guys. Sass, how you doing, fella?
I'm good, bro. You?
I'm good. Took your time. Dinner done?
Yeah, dinner, kids, various obligations.
Lovely. Welcome to the stream. Ian's my very good mate, and Michael's my very good mate. So, and we're
pleasure.
So it's good to have
pleasure,
you.
Guys.
Are you stressed out?
Stressed? Well, with real life things, yes, but not football.
That's what I like to hear. This is why we got Sasito in the building. You're not stressed.
I mean, you guys were talking about Salah, and I was thinking to myself, man, 200. I mean, these are insane numbers. It's insane. He's 31. In any, had this been maybe 4 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago,
it's a wrap.
I would have been like, assuming that money would have gone back in the kitty, I'd be like, yeah, all day long. I mean, I know he's the main man, he's the talisman and all the rest of it. And he is, I think he's going to have a really good season. But I just don't think we're in a position to turn that sort of money down.
Even now, Sass?
No, I mean, look, to be honest with you, no, not now. But you said, look, basically we're giving up 75 million, assuming they come back in for 100 million next summer. And they're going to be pests in January as well. I don't know what they're, it's just the beginning of all of this sort of stuff. But it's massive, massive money, isn't it? I mean, it's, and I like you guys said, there's no way of replacing him per se. It's got to be another, they've got to find another gem.
Well, that leads me into the super chat. It says, guys, have faith in our own academy. Bečić will be 19 in a month with 22 matches, all comps. Lavia is 19 too and has 29 outings in all comps. No, I get that. Bečić. Oh, I'm not going to speak on Bečić. Ian, what's your thoughts on young Bečić?
Well, I'll probably get pelters for it.
Oh, there you go. I know where this is going. Go on.
I don't want to get carried away with him. Do you know what I mean? I think if he's consistently like he was towards the end of last season, then sound. But I'm still a bit apprehensive that he was just playing a bit above himself. Is what I'm worried about. And because the sample size is very small, and obviously he's only a kid, so he's going to improve. But I'd be very reluctant to think, right, he's going to be at the end for the next 10 years. Just because I haven't seen enough of him. And I just think I'm a little bit worried that maybe he had a bit of a purple patch and it's not his base level. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense.
I'm with you, mate. I've got pelters already. You said you're going to get pelters. You will, because I got destroyed on my own channel, which I love. I love getting destroyed on my own channel. I'm a freak like that. All right? Because I said, no, I'm being honest. Because I get, and Sass loves, the young academies and everything. And look, I've said it to Sass as well in private. I just don't think. I hope I'm proved wrong. Michael, what's your opinion on Bajcetic? I hope I'm proved wrong and I have egg on my face.
I like Bajcetic, but it's too early to say what sort of caliber of player we have on our hands.
But this is the question everyone's asking. If we're so convinced, or we're all agreed, no, Lavia, bring in Lavia. Well, same age, and
we don't have to pay anything. So what do we do then? I like Bajcetic. I think if he was healthy and he proved himself maybe in pre-season.
By the way, guys, because there's a lot of arguments or debates that he's not a 6. Some think that his natural position will end up as an 8, like he's a front foot presser, like he's a what was the way someone described him? A mobile destroyer or something fucking fancy like that.
Do you know what he's got that Bajcetic hasn't got? It's just a pace. He gets around. He's a lot more physical than him. Bajcetic has got quite a few injuries under his belt already as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think you'd ask yourself, if it was the other way around and we owned Lavia, would we be looking to go and buy Bajcetic? And I don't think we would.
Good point.
Do you know what I mean? So that is why I'm not saying he's not going to turn out to be sound, but I don't think I want to put all my eggs in that basket just yet. Do you know what I mean?
He was our best player. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for a stretch, he was our best midfielder last season. You know,
but that wasn't that hard to do, though.
It was a very low bar on it. You know what I mean?
I would have been our best midfielder in that stretch. Games, me and you went to see them at Brentford.
Brentford, and yeah.
And I said to you, I sat down and I said, from the start, I said, we're going to get mullered here. And the game hadn't started, and I never feel like that about Liverpool.
Yeah. No, I remember that day.
And I said, we're going to get mullered here. And I didn't get up from my seat when I said it. The game kicked off and I stayed in my seat. And he was like, no, come on, we're back in it. When Ox scored, I said, do you know what I mean? So Bajcetic did look good in that period. But I'm like, Ian, I feel as though that was overplayed because of the situation with the rest of them.
Yeah. Listen, he's clearly talented. And I just, like you say, it's too early to tell. But at the end of the day, if we can nurture him, maybe he's one that, you sell for 30, 40 million in a year or two, But are we stacked? Is it me, or have we got loads of midfielders now all of a sudden? We do, don't we?
I think
Thiago.
You stacked with attacking midfielders, did you say? We missed out on your
all of them, the 6 and 8. We're quite stacked now, no? I'm trying to think, are they all going to be getting game time?
Who's going to be fit?
Curtis Jones is out. Thiago's out. So who's left on the bench now?
I think Curtis Jones was another reason why this Gravenberch doesn't make sense. He doesn't make sense. He's a wonderful player. We all love him. We all think he's great. We all think his potential. I believe Curtis Jones is very similar to Gravenberch.
But do you think they have the idea that they might sell Curtis Jones soon then, maybe?
I don't see us selling.
No, I don't think they'll sell Jones.
But I just think he's just gotten so many injuries that they may be looking at that injury record and being like, you know what? I don't think we can rely on this guy anymore. So we gotta buy somebody else. And maybe that's why they're looking at Andre as well from Fluminense and thinking we might have to get him as well for the 6.
We're not getting him now.
We're not getting him? Not even in January?
From what I've been told, we've
Damn, he would have been a really good pickup, by the way. Oh,
he's
a baller.
To be fair to Curtis, I think he's had some weird injuries, man. That time we had a problem with his eye or something. There was some random non-football related or non.
He actually, my claim to fame, he actually liked my tweet where I said, "Stop calling Curtis injury prone," because if you actually look at his record, it's one serious injury, right?
Yeah.
That he had,
yeah,
and an eye injury, right? They're the only real injuries he's had, and they've been out. They've taken him out long term, and he actually liked the tweet. So he actually agreed with me that he's unfortunate, man. He's not injury prone. I was like, and the talent, and he's just coming into his own as well.
He was so good at the end of the last season. So good in that position as well. Making those runs at the back post and scoring like at Leicester against Tottenham.
He was adding goals to his repertoire.
Yeah, it was so good to watch.
And he was being molded into another, again, like we discussed with Gravenberch, another Ginny. He was being taught how to cover a lot, and that's not Curtis's game.
You know, when he played in is it the under 20? I don't know what they call it. Is it the under 21s or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Euros under 21s. Yeah.
Listen, he was
double pivot.
He was a dribbler. He was he was always front foot. He was the number 10 of the team, as far as I can remember. Yeah, and you're right. They've sort of molded him into that sort of,
organized,
quite an organized, get the ball, give it. He's lost some of his, I don't know what the word. I suppose not flair, but you know what I mean. He's lost his free spirit. So yeah, So let's see. But I think I don't know. I just obviously it's not. We're not signing a centre back, are we? There's no last minute loan deal or something going on.
No, they've turned the lights off.
Yeah, I mean that for me is the bit that worries me.
Well, we were just talking about that before you came on.
Oh, sorry, did I miss that bit? Okay, yeah, fair enough.
It's fair, isn't it? It's like.
Yeah, Grizz, we're going to have a real dilemma next summer. We're going to have to get a center back and probably 2 right wingers. And we got to get a quality center back as well. We were not even trying to bid for anybody, really. That's my biggest worry. Did Klopp and the scouts say, you know what? I think we're good in the center back positions. We can trust Matip and Gomez for one more season. But did we not watch last season with Matip? The guy's... He's going down with his quality, even though, he's been a great player for Liverpool, but I'm really worried with Matip. If we're going to have to play him, let's say, 20 games in the Premier League, are we going to trust him? I don't think we can. Gomez, we saw, I think Gomez can play as a deputy at right back now. He can be a backup there. That's my biggest worry. And why did we not go for Inacio?
The Guardiola is such a shame.
Yeah, but we can't afford it.
I mean, I know. I just wonder whether had the Saudi deals, the Fabinho and Henderson happen earlier, that we would have got involved in that, but I don't know, man. It's yeah.
I don't trust. I'm going to be very honest with you. If we have to rely on Matip for more than 10 games this season, we're fucked.
Yeah, agreed.
No, honestly, he's that bad now, man. It's so sad.
Is it the pace? It's the pace, Grizz, or
I think it's everything. He struggled. Look. And I've used this example before, so people in the chat, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but guys, I don't know about you lot, but when you were little, right, when we're learning how to kick the ball, it's always easier to kick the ball when you bounce it, right? So you bounce the ball, right? You let it bounce, and then you welly it, and you can kick it really far, as opposed to kicking it from a standing point. You put the ball on the ground, and then you kick it. You need technique. You have to be a natural striker of the ball. Matip can't strike the ball while it's on the floor, guys. Have you seen it? He could do his passes 10, 15 yards. He can't kick it more than 20 yards anymore.
You mean when they roll it back to him to kick off from the center?
Yeah. It just goes up in the air, just loops up in the air. It's like his hamstring's going to go if he kicks it harder. Honest to God, he plays football like I do now. He plays, and that's really, really worrying. He's got no turn of pace, and he's being asked if we're going to persist with this system to play as a fucking deputy to Khanage, who's an absolute physical specimen. Make it make sense to me.
We got to drop the line then.
Maybe I'm being overcritical.
No, I agree with you, Grizz.
Matip is nothing like the profile needed to play that 3, whatever you want to call it, 3-2-2-2. Or do we go back to the system? Ian, I've got a feeling we're going to go back to 4-3-3, son.
I think we will. I think we'll be shifting between them both, to be honest.
Yeah.
The mad thing is, mate, I actually think Joe Gomez is perfect to play that system. If you get the Joe Gomez when we won the league.
Yes.
Not the one from last season.
Yeah, if you get he was excellent when he come on against Newcastle the other day. Excellent. Because he's got the profile, rapid. He can play centre half, right back. Do you know what I mean? He's the profile, but it's whatever Joe Gomez you're getting, because he has brain farts, don't he? Where he'll have a 15-minute spell where he looks like he's won a competition to play football for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And you shit yourself.
It's mental, isn't it?
You're worried. There's a mistake in there, isn't there?
Yeah. And it's not just one. He seems to make 3 or 4 dead quick. His head seems to go a bit. You know what I mean?
That's it. Just like Trent the other day. So Trent makes that mistake, and then suddenly he lost it, but then he regained it. Now, I think the leadership, making him vice captain, will improve that concentration with Trent.
It was like the captain's armband, sort of like he gave him a shield. You know, he was like, came out of his.
You was going to say, Ian?
Yeah, mate. I'm just going to let me dog out a sec before he breaks through my door. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Go on. Let's get another caller in, guys. We've got a few callers waiting to come in. Michael, you okay to stick around?
Yeah, I can stay for 10 more minutes.
All right, cool, no problem. Cecil was first in the building. Cecil, are you there still? Just give me a message or a hello if you're still there, or if you've taken your dog for a walk as well. Okay, maybe he's gone. No, he's there. Cecil's there. Cecil, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks for having me. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, my brother. Where are you calling from? What do you want to speak about?
Well, I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
I'm literally
playing I'm literally playing Football Manager FM 2019. Ironically enough, this was the game where Gravenberch was actually a wonder kid. So, so yeah, it's been the first time I first heard of Gravenberch, the player at Ajax. So now that he has signed for Liverpool, it's kind of like, because the thing is, like, playing Football Manager, some players who were like wonder kids in the game actually turned out good. Some didn't turn out great. I hope Gravenberch, let's say, will be of the first, because I do think he clearly has talent. I don't think him not succeeding at Bayern was totally so, because, I mean, he does barely play matches. He does play any matches. Yeah, it's considering the fact that Bayern had Goretzka and Kimmich. That's very hard for any young player, any young talented midfielder to dislodge. So the fact that Liverpool have got him, I'm excited, but I'm actually more intrigued because, I do think if what he is capable of, he kind of reminds me of, like, if he's even close, let's say, the profile of, let's say, someone like a Clarence Seedorf. I do think that I think he would be a great player, because I'm someone who grew up watching Clarence Seedorf, and I really enjoy Seedorf. Which is why, like, when Ronaldo was at the club at the time, I generally joke that Ronaldo is the son of Ronaldo is the son of Clarence Seedorf, because like very similar. You can see the like how strong they were, in terms of retaining the ball. Gravenberch has those physical attributes, and you're right. His defensive game is not there, because Seedorf was also a very combative midfielder. Because he plays six, but you won't say he's a pure six. But he was very combative, that he could do the dirty work when necessary. Gravenberch is someone who doesn't really have that yet, and I think that's something that has to be developed. Because I don't think Liverpool will play the 4-3-3 that we've been accustomed to. I think it's possible Liverpool could play in a 4-2-3-1. Heck, I did something that I even suggested. Liverpool could even play in a 4-2-2-2. The way like Leipzig played, where they had two deep central midfielders, two 10/wingers, and two guys up front. Because the players Liverpool have at their disposal, I think that those two formations actually make sense. I don't know what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, we're gonna. I mean, take it away. That's why I brought this super chat as well. El Lad sending a super chat. Appreciate this support. He says 4-2-3-1 is our best case scenario. Michael, we've been messing about with the formations, haven't we? Well, we haven't really. We played the 4-3-3 for 5 years, pretty much non-stop.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we sort of adjusted it, but that's only because I think we didn't have the personnel to play the 4-3-3 anymore. Now I think we've got the personnel to go back to the 4-3-3. What do we do? Because Gravenberch, where does he fit? I don't see him as we all agree we don't see him as a lone six, but we can see him within a pivot. But then the two eights should be or would be McAllister and Szoboszlai. He doesn't oust them, does he, really, as eights?
To be honest, I think we're going to go back to 4-3-3, and Szoboszlai is going to be the furthest one up between the three. And that McAllister and Gravenberch will probably play as a double pivot, and Gravenberch will help with Trent on that right side for defensive cover. I think that's how we're going to do it. I just don't think we have the personnel to play that sort of box midfield and Trent inverting as the midfielder. I think we're going to get run over in transition. We are giving up way too many chances to opponents now. Whereas before, we suffocated the opponents. Now we got to try and keep possession a lot better. I feel like we're rushing it at too many times.
But I agree with you in terms of last season. This season, I think that assessment is a little bit harsh because I've watched our games again and again and again. And I know this notion of us getting run over. But if you analyze the games, guys, or maybe I'm just a crazy analyst, but I don't think we've been run over overly. I think I think the legs.
I agree. I agree with that.
And to be honest, Grizz, most of those chances come from their own mistakes, our own mistakes as well.
Go on, Cecil, because you agree with me, you're going to get some airtime. Go on.
Yeah, because think about all the goals Liverpool conceded. Chelsea, didn't get the second ball for decisive equalizer. Bournemouth, Trent Brainfart. Newcastle, Trent Brainfart. So you can't really say Liverpool have been picked apart in any of those three games. The Chelsea second half, I think, was systematic of new players. We had a brand new midfield, right? The crowd backed them a little bit because you've got to remember, new manager bounced for them as well and everything else. The other two games, guys, I don't know what Sass and Ian think. I don't think nothing compared to last season. And I think it's because we got energy and legs in midfield. Fuck's sake, our midfielders can run now, lads. Do you want one thing?
You muted Ian.
Do you know one thing that I think this Liverpool team has that even the team from 2018 to 2020 didn't have? Ball retention. Because the players Liverpool have right now have excellent ball retention. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai. Because all these players, they're very good on the ball and they could just quickly turn defense into attack straight away. Henderson wasn't great at that. Fabinho wasn't great at that. Ronaldo was somewhat good at that. And if that's something that, let's say, in certain games, it kind of, let's say, expose Liverpool on the ball. Because, it was a combative midfield that Liverpool had. It was very good at what it did. But in certain games, I think 2019, champions against PSG at Paris, Liverpool, in terms of their game in possession, was really poor because Verratti was just going past the midfield like he was a freaking snake. Because that's something that I'm excited to see this season in terms of what this new midfield is capable of. But it also means that all of Liverpool midfielders have to be very combative when necessary.
Yeah,
because there's no bite. There's no bite in this midfield. There's really no bite.
I think that's the way we're trying to go. I think we're going to be very front foot. Cecil, thank you very much for calling, my brother. We're going to continue the conversation and the points that you've raised. Thank you very much, my bro. Yeah, man. I don't know, Connie, Ian, you was going to say I had you on mute. Sorry.
It's hard to tell, really, mate, because we've played 3 games and we've only had 11 players on the pitch for about 6 minutes in those 3 games. You know what I mean? And not only that, if you want to give us a little bit of credit sometimes, we've played Chelsea and Newcastle away. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, Chelsea, you never know what you're going to get because they've got a fucking 1,000 new players. But Newcastle away, not many teams will win there this season, and I include City and I include Arsenal. It's a tough place to go. And don't get me wrong, mate. We were under the cosh for long periods, but we had 10 men for about how long? An hour, a good hour.
Yeah.
And we ground it out. Do you know what I mean?
And that was we didn't lose anyone. We lost our captain and centre back.
And the one who he's the glue, isn't he, at the back? Do you know what I mean? You take him out and you pour us as shit usually. So do you know what I mean? So I think obviously there's teething problems because we've got an entire new midfield. Do you know what I mean? You got Endo, who's still fucking checking his lottery numbers. He can't believe he plays for Liverpool at the minute. Do you know what I mean? So you've got him who's thinking he touched down in the plane in like 1 minute and thought, "Fuck me, what's going on?" And he's, you know what I mean? He's played out of nowhere. He's come off because of a sending off. So he's going to take a little bit of time to get going. You got McAllister who looks the part anyway. Do you know what I mean? Szoboszlai's just going to boss it. So it's hard to tell what formation or how we're going to be. Do you know what I mean? I'm not overly fussed if we're not getting the 60s and 65% possession anymore. Because when we were at our best, our rock and roll football, we just smash it on the break anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all right with just having that. At home, we'll be a completely different side than what we are away. You're right. We did give a few chances away at home against Bournemouth, but it's quite easy to look at rose-tinted glasses sometimes. We've always give quite a lot of chances away, even with the high line. That's why Alisson's so good. We're so dependent on Alisson because of how good. Once his form drops off, we're fucked. We're up to the lead. We're all right, you know what I mean? Because he bails us out. He's the sweeper, isn't he? But
that's what I said the other day. Do you know, like when the Virgil van Dijk, I said, how can they call that a clear goal scoring opportunity when you've got Alisson behind it?
Exactly. So it's hard to see. I mean, it's on vogue at the minute to have the box midfield in it. So your Cities and your Arsenals and stuff, they're having the box others fours. And I dare say we'll do it at times. Do you know what I mean? And Trent is like a much better player when he's in the middle of the park and he's got all the time in the world. So if you let Trent pick, he'd play in there all the time, I reckon.
Yeah, but shall I tell you the Trent argument I had, right, on the shows this week? I think Trent was played there because of the lack of other players with that similar attributes last season, namely Ox, Milner.
Well, it was a bit of both.
None of them can play like Trent. Now it's different, Ian. Yeah. I think now, because we've got McAllister, Jones, maybe to a lesser extent, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, I don't think we need to stress Trent to be the creative hub and so much emphasis on Trent to be that guy anymore.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's timing.
Yeah, that's true. But you also can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, mate. And now he likes playing there now. You know what I mean? So good luck keeping him from going in that midfield all the time because he's just going to carry on.
He's going to have the hump.
Yeah, he's just going to carry on drifting in. And I think what you're right there, you're saying, like, he was going in the middle because we didn't have the creativity. But in the same place, I think he was going in the middle because we didn't have anyone who could help him at right back. So, generally, I think now, who's going to play right centre mid this season? Who's it going to be? Szoboszlai. I don't think that suits him really, but I think Trent's weaknesses are hidden a bit more when he's got a lot more. Like back in his prime when you had Henderson who was doing a lot of the donkey work around him, or used to have Ronaldo doing it for Robertson. Do you know what I mean? They're not emptying their fullback position as often. Oh, they are, but it's not as apparent because they've got players covering. I'm not sure I see Szoboszlai going in at right back all the time. Or I do see him doing it, but I'd rather not. You know what I mean? So
then that suggests the 4-3-3 don't suit them as well. Then Sass, Michael.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like because I think Michael referred to was it Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch playing double like that mix of a midfield, and I just think it's too attacking, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it's a bit.
There's no such.
What else?
There's no such thing as too attacking for Klopp. He's fucking mental.
I think he's. You're right. He's gone back to his roots, and he's just gonna.
At Dortmund, though, guys, because I'm trying to remember. At Dortmund, he didn't have an out-and-out DM.
No, but he had Nuri Sahin, who was like.
But Nuri Sahin
he didn't really. No.
Nuri Sahin is not a physical monster.
No.
He doesn't believe in that.
And neither was Gundogan.
And neither was Gundogan.
Yep.
Yeah. I think if you let him, I think he'd play 3 number 8s, me, and just go, right, let's have a game of basketball. You go, we'll go, and see who wins. Do you know what I mean? Because he's fucking mad.
He is, because he laughed. Did you see the clip where Endo comes in and he says, "Oh, I need you. We've got a brilliant team, but they're all attackers."
Yeah. You got to do a lot of work. Yeah,
he's a mad cunt. Like, how's he telling a newcomer, like, you're going to be my workhorse? He's not even through the door yet. And he's like, I'm going to make you fucking run like mad, son. You're going to be on the least wages, right?
You're going to run the most.
We're going to be on 100 grand. You're on 40 grand. You've come from Stuttgart. I'm going to use you for 2 years. And Endo's thinking, all right. This is my job.
Endo's just happy to be here.
Right,
this is a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Ian says he's won the lottery. He's like, good, let's go. I'll work. But I don't know, man. Gravenberch doesn't look like that grafting type as well. But if he's got that dog in him, if like Michael, you was talking about that aggressive, he gives a lot of yellow cards or whatever. Because remember the game he played against us at Anfield in the
he was great.
Guys, I remember that game. It was behind closed doors, and he was a menace. He you don't bully Gini, you know, and he like kind of had Gini. Obviously, the Dutch, he wanted to prove a point because Gini must have been a mentor for him, right? Or not a mentor, but you know,
he had his spot in the national squad, didn't he? He probably just wanted his place.
Yeah. So you can tell he must have had a bit of I'll show Gini, I'm Dutch, young, up and coming. He had a proper good go at Gini. And I know Curtis Jones had a good game in that game, but they both shown. I'm getting more and more excited about this guy. I wasn't overly excited about it, but...
Was it Ian that said that he's got a chip on his shoulder? I fully agree. I think he's got a huge point to prove, especially with the Euros coming up next summer, where he's not even selected for the Dutch national team. This is his season. He's got to prove to himself and prove to Ronald Koeman and everybody in Holland that I'm the guy that you saw at Ajax that was so talented and was
we know these Dutch lads. They love their ego.
And they love to roast their own players. Oh my God! Wait till Marco van Basten comes on and just start roasting Ryan Gravenberch as well, like he was roasting Van Dijk. But Grizz, I gotta go. I want to say one thing about another team. Why are Tottenham buying Brennan Johnson for that much money? Why?
I don't mind him, you know. I don't know how much they've paid, but I actually quite like
million or something, guys.
50 million.
50 million's the new 10 million, though, innit? Everyone's
it's UK tax.
It's a mess signing to me, if I'm going to be honest, Grizz.
I think it's really, I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of signings are a mess. Honestly, and I'm not doing it out of jealousy like Liverpool, right? You know, but honestly, there's not a lot of signings that make sense. Like Nottingham Forest have bought 7 players in one day.
Nah, that club, the owner of Nottingham Forest is a nut job. He's a nut job, that guy.
Listen, can someone do some investigation? Where's the fucking investigation in that?
Oh, no, Grizz, you should read the stuff that he does in Greece. He does some illegal stuff. So I'll just say that. But Grizz, thanks for having me on, bro.
That's all, Michael.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Michael, all the best.
See you later. Take care.
I've got to stick up for Brennan Johnson because my friend is his agent or works for the agency that looks after him. And I don't know, promising, young, English.
I get it.
You know, but I know what you mean. Like it's big money.
Spurs look dead. Like Spurs need energy. He looks like an Angie type player. Like the football Ange played at Celtic. Dynamic runners from midfield. You can see Brennan Johnson. I'm just not his biggest fan. I think 50 million. I
think he's an all right player, but that's a lot of money. Like
he's a 30 million player, Ian. He's a 30 million pound player,
mate. But like you said, the market at the minute is mental. So who knows what? We'll put it this way: if that Palmer's just gone to Chelsea from City for 42.5, then Brennan Johnson's got an argument to say, "Well, I've done much more than he has." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So,
even that Palmer, Cole Palmer. I think he's got a bit of an attitude problem. That's why because Pep don't let you go if you're good and you listen to him. I think he's a bit of a attitude guy. He's got
and I also think he realizes he's not that good. You know what I mean?
I think the raw talent's there though. I don't think it's the worst club he could have chosen though. Worst club to have only raw talent and no structure and no coaching and no like sort of going to a system like from top to bottom. Chelsea's the worst club he could have chosen.
Mate, I hope they go absolute tits up in the next 18 months.
I hope they absolutely get liquidated. Sorry,
mate, you've got about 15 players on 9-year contracts. I hope they all turn into Winston Bogardas and they can't sell any of the balance. You know what I mean? They're like Mudryk, they're 90 million. I think he scored 7 goals in his life. Like you put yourself
calling him Midrick.
Yeah, honestly. So let's just say he puts on 5 stone next season. They've got to pay him for another 8 years, and he's like 19 stone. Oh yes, please. Do you know what I mean? That's got to happen to at least one of them. They've
It's
signed that
happened to
many.
loads of them. It's happened to loads of them. But they got bailed out by the Saudi clubs this year. You know that? They got bailed out big time.
Yeah, it's
So they
weird.
were in trouble. They were in trouble.
They sold 5-6 players to Saudi, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was it 5, like 3? Yeah. But even
All,
today,
all
I
in
think it was
about
quite
2
few.
days.
Ian
Not
Matson's
even-
gone to Burnley. for
No,
like
it fell
40.
through. It fell through.
I fell through.
Yeah, they
Who's
couldn't
the
have-
other fella? Who's the other fella they just sold for 40 million or something? Oh, fucking.
Gallagher?
No, Gallagher's. I don't know if that's gone through. I haven't checked. But Chelsea shambles. But let's bring in the next caller, man. Let's see what the next caller's got to say. Anfield Hustle's in the building as well. Anfield Hustle, what are you saying, bro? Hope everything's well. You're on mute. Great start. I love when people like build up, wait all night to come on, right? And they're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, man. Had to do justice, isn't it, for everyone else? How's it going, lads? All right?
Good,
All
good,
good,
good, good,
man.
pal. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Now, like, amazing conversation as always, guys. But like, it's funny you lot said it. So I'm guessing you were talking about Lewis Hall.
Oh, Lewis Hall. That's
the
it.
one.
Newcastle.
Yeah, Lewis Hall, 40 million, madness. Especially after he just signed a new contract as well.
I think he's a very good player, guys. I think he's a very.
When have you ever seen Lewis Hall?
Don't call me.
Stop
David.
talking shit. You've never watched them play.
Okay.
I think he's only played about 4 substitute appearances.
And I've seen every single one.
To be fair, I wouldn't say he's worth 40 million though either. So
No chance,
Chelsea going to see the hand that's searching out for them.
What's the date? What's the time? The date is 22:58 Friday, September 1st. Guys, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, fucking hell, Grizz said he's a good player. Watch, he's going to impress all of you lot." Lewis Hall, remember?
Love it.
He had a good game away at Newcastle, funny enough, last season for Chelsea. He played well there, I thought. But
Sass, he's a good player. Trust me. I've watched every substitute appearance of his.
But it's a madness because 42 was it? Who's the City boy who's gone to Chelsea? Is it Fowler? Not Fowler. What's his name? Palmer. Sorry. He's had 3 He's had 3 Premier League starts. I mean,
that's what I said to you when you was talking about
just
deals. I don't think there's any great deals. I think Maddison for 40 million at Spurs was a good one, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else stands out, guys.
35 million McAllister.
Yeah, our ones. Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask this question to you guys. It'd be good to hear your opinions. If you could take any of the signings that any of the clubs have made so far in the summer window, who would you take now?
Guardiola instantly.
Yeah.
Oh, Guardiola. Yeah.
Yeah, Guardiola, I would say it. He
100%.
is exactly what Liverpool needed, and he was a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Why we weren't sniffing around that is beyond me, mate, honestly. He's made for what we need now.
Apparently, we inquired in January.
Is your reception, your Wi-Fi?
Where did I read, or was it you telling me, Grizz, that we I think we inquired. Oh, my screen.
They quoted 90 million. We're never going to enter that kind of.
Is that me?
race.
But I would have said myself, I don't know about you, Grizz, I would have said Ugarte, 52 mil. That would have been
but
actually
you know
the
what,
best.
bro? We've just been talking. Do you know what it is, bro? We've just been talking, right? And even though we love a DM and we want a DM, we've just discussed Jurgen Klopp, right? And through his history, he doesn't like those dogs of war. Like only he's restricted to one. He likes multifunctional players. And Ugarte is literally, no disrespect to dogs, he's just a dog.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I think like if we could
bloody
get
good dog though.
No, he's a bloody good dog. Yeah.
I think if we can get a Gravenberch that's similar to, you know, the Arturo Vidal, that kind of, he's got that dog on both ends of the field and he can do it in defense and come in the offense. I think that's the perfect picture that we're looking at. But obviously, that's going.
Yeah, I want to see that. I'm not sure if he's got that Vidal streak in him.
I think
he's
now he's got a chip
on
on his shoulder, though, like Ian was saying.
Vidal was not interested. Vidal was not interested in the ball, man.
Yeah,
Gravenberch wants the ball all the time.
He's in quite a lot of trouble at the minute, Vidal, isn't he? Have you seen him the last few days? What he said, Vidal. Who was that German keeper that committed suicide?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He said, he goes, I scored past him in one of my first appearances and he never got over it so much that he killed himself. He said that live on telly, not only a few days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
He is a fucking nightmare, honestly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, but I mean, look, Gravenberch is an unknown entity, man. We ain't seen him play for a year.
Yeah.
Like, no one's seen him play for a year. You know what I mean? And he's going to be hungry. He's going to have lots to prove. I want to see that side to him if you think he's got that defensive side to him. I'm not sure if he has, man.
Do you know who he reminds me of a little bit? Although they play completely different positions, but just in terms of style and the way he runs. Do you remember how Kanu used to play? You know, and he sort of maybe I'm coming completely from left field. You're going to be like,
yeah. I think the only comparison is they both got size 15 feet.
I'm just trying to say in terms of the way he shields the ball and the way he protects the ball and the way he kind of his running style a little bit.
He's a technical player. He wants the ball all the time.
Yeah.
He's not a destroyer. All of our midfielders want the ball. Curtis wants the ball all the time. McAllister wants the ball all the time. Who's going to do the running apart from Szoboszlai?
What I would say is with someone like Gravenberch is I dare say it's easier to teach someone the defensive side of the game than it is to teach someone how to be good going forward. Do you know what I mean? It's a different skill set. You know what I mean? So he's got the profile, like I say, 6'4", he's quick enough, he's athletic. So I think you can mold that a lot easier than you could turn him into you know what I mean, an attacking player if he was more defensive. Do you know what I mean? You've either you're never going to make Wan-Bissaka anything more than a foot. Yeah, exactly. You know, you can't teach that, but it's a lot easier to teach Trent to do the Wan-Bissaka stuff, if you get me. Do you know what I mean? So maybe Klopp's looking at it that way.
Yeah, 100%. I don't even think I know you guys were discussing Endo earlier, and I know, well, by the looks of it now, I guess, it's over now, transfer window.
Is it officially closed, guys? Yep, it's officially closed. So there you go. No need to worry about anything else. It's officially done. It's officially closed. The transfer window is now done. So there you go. This is our squad. This is it. Now, obviously, the only fear left is the Saudi window, right? When does that close?
I think it's 2 weeks from now, isn't it?
I know they've got at least another week, at least. Yeah.
Someone said it was the 7th of September. Then someone was saying that it could be as long as the 20th.
So what are you trying to say? They can extend it. They do what they want.
I don't know, man. Listen, if the big boss says extend it, it gets extended.
It's extended. That's it. It's mentalist situation.
No, but I think officially, I was hearing Ben Jacobs talk about
20th. There you go.
I think it's either the 20th or the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there we go, 20th.
What happens now with Mohamed Salah? No chance, right, guys?
No. Not now.
Yeah, not now. I'd say unless they're going to put in something crazy like 250 million.
Well, what's crazy?
250 million. I think I'm very firm believer. I love Salah. And you know what? I would never want to sell him. And 100%.
What are you going to do with that money, bro? What are you going to do
with it? Spend it in January.
But I still think that the money will still be there next year anyway, regardless.
Not with these owners. I'm not believing a word. I'm not believing a word of them from what they say. I'm telling you now, there's no amount of money that would force me to sell him. You can't do it. From a football
You've got to ask yourself, right? They've had 2-3 months to bid this money. They have not done a single thing until 5 hours before the transfer window closes. So you've got to wonder, what iron have they got in the fire there? Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what it is, in my humble opinion. I think it's a pure PR stunt.
Well, I mean, everything they do is PR because they don't want you to look at what they're doing in the country. So everything they do, all the sports washing stuff, is all PR. But it doesn't mean they don't want him. It just means
100%. Yeah, they want.
You know what I mean? So everything they do is to try and you know what I mean, improve the profile, whatever. But then you just got to say why wait till 5 hours before? Do you know what I mean? All right, and then you've got to look at who else did they own in the Prem, and who's it benefiting that? You know what I mean? We're up in arms, and we could potentially lose our best player. There's more at play than just them wanting to buy a player. It's just there's a lot of
That's
shade.
how we got to stay strong.
I think, Ian, kind of like you were saying before, it was that kind of confidence where you said, you know what, they've come away with the captain They come away with the other negotiations with the Liverpool players, and now they're thinking, you know what, if it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. So now they're thinking, you know what, we might as well try for the top dog rather than trying for kind of the middle range people, let's just say, that we're trying to aspire to. And I think that's probably what got them a little bit cocky on the deal, and they were like, you know what, 100 million, and accept it. Then they thought, you know what, 150 million. Now it's 175, 200 million. So I feel like.
But check this out, guys. But check this out. As of today, there's actually not been a bid.
Yeah, rumors.
So there's not been an actual bid.
I mean, you've got to be scared. You've got to be scared of anyone who goes up in increments of £50 million at a time. They're worried. Do you know what I mean? Like Liverpool are arguing over 2.5 million over 6 months or whatever, and then you just got this country that goes, "Yeah, I'll have another 50, have another 100." It's mental.
But you know, Ian, they've said, right? They have earmarked something like 35 billion or 30 billion. It's like an insane number, right? To spend by 2030.
Yeah,
28 billion. Yeah, and on top of that, they want which World Cup is it? Is it 2030 or 2036? I don't know. It's one of these World Cups that Saudi is definitely on.
Oh, they'll get it.
And they probably will get it. And so I'm just like, I know what you mean. It's like, it's almost like they were negotiating with themselves. They're like, you know what I mean? Up in 25 increments,
It's
25 million.
Nothing
It's nuts. But there is a number for him, guys. I'm with you. I mean, Anfield Hustle, I'm with you. I mean, 250.
No, there has to be a number, but
if it's 250, come on. If you had 250 right now, and I understand, listen, we've got to go 6 months, or we've got to go a couple of months till January, and of course you're going to have to spend about 50% extra on the player. But if you had 250 million, and I'm going to throw the spanner in the works here, Grizz, potential to get Mbappe, yeah, with the way money.
Forget that. He only wants Madrid. And even if we've got the money, we won't want to spend it on just one player. That's the thing. I think we're going to... Mbappe is the only replacement realistically, not for output for output. In world football right now, it's only Mbappe, in my opinion, guys. Unless there's someone else I've forgotten, top of my head.
Someone like Coman, I thought, maybe.
No, Sass.
No, he's always injured.
Output-wise, no. He's a wonderful... I love him.
Yeah.
Injury-prone. He's brilliant. But it's not. No one's got the output of this machine. Salah is a machine.
It's someone like Saka. Someone like Saka, or someone like... If you're going to go... Unless you're going and buying unless you're buying a Bakayoko.
Go for, but you're not getting him, so...
You're not getting him now.
If you've got 300 million burning a hole in your pocket, you're telling me Arsenal not going to take 150 million for Saka or 125 million for Saka?
I don't think they would.
Not when they know we've got 250 million.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what, as well, Ian, touching on that, I think that's a perfect point to go on. Like, this is one thing about Liverpool's business that's really just annoyed me from like seasons on seasons, which is like, and I know we can talk about Man City, we can talk about Chelsea, this and that, whatever. But I mean, like, one thing I really rated about Man City setup is whenever they had a player who was integral to that kind of role position, they always got in the next player while that player is still at the club for a year. So they've learned the trick of the trade, and they've learned a year without having that pressure, like Fernandinho and Rodri. And now you can see the translation. But what we do is we sell up all of a sudden because we've had a big offer. And now everybody knows that we've had 150, 100 million, 80 million now in the bank. And then we're held for ransom.
Anfield Hustle. Me and Ian will tell you, because we're older, and Sasha will tell you as well. That's how Liverpool used to operate.
Yeah.
We used to have understudies ready to step in. New signings would never be thrown into the lineup. New signings would have to bide their time, learn the club ethics, system, and everything. It's a jungle out there now. You can't do that now anymore.
Now it is crazy.
City have got the time and the money and the power to do that, unfortunately, whether we like it, whether we don't. We're in a world where we have to have instant success.
Do you know we were a very good template for replacing what they've just lost? Just Brighton straight away. They'll have a list of 3 or 4 players and they go, right, we're going to sell Caicedo. Right, we already know who we're going to go and buy. Yeah. All right, there's going to be 25% tax on it because of what we're going to get, but they already know. Whereas we don't seem to have like a list of players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think we were
reactionary almost. You know what I mean? Instead of
very
being,
reactionary, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we've become reactionary because of the problems with the structure. So ever since Ward left, now obviously Edwards was the absolute guru.
oh
You
yeah,
know, we need to
Legend.
get back. We need to get back. Look, let's call a spade as it is. Let's call a spade, guys. Let's not sugarcoat anything, right? George Schmatka, right? Might as well be in Ian McGlynn or Grizz Khan, right? Like,
Yeah.
no. What I mean by that is, like, I know Sass, right? I'm getting Sass in, right? I'm Jurgen Klopp. I'm giving the job to Ian and Sass. Like,
Yeah.
are you trying to tell me FSG knew who the fuck George Schmatka was in Ibiza? Like, did you? All right, we need a sporting director. Right, let's call George.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Did you think that we fucking scouted George?
Man's telling some knock jokes on the phone.
Yeah, not jokes on the phone. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's we.
Well, what's the assessment for him? Like, if you were to assess his performance this summer, obviously, like, you know, people are saying, "Oh, he's just a release clause merchant." You know, he's calling up release. You know,
you tell me, what do you want me to assess?
I think he's done.
He couldn't sell Nat Phillips. Rob Holding. Arsenal got 4 million for Rob Holding.
Mate, in his defence, no one could sell Nat Phillips.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No,
mate, he's been on the transfer list for fucking 6 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
I think the only time he got him was when he was already in Germany. Do you know what I mean? So was he at Stuttgart when he went there?
Yeah.
So how do you assess George then? What were you not assessing him? Are you giving him a new contract, Sass?
Well, apparently he's got a
to the year.
This is the whole thing. Apparently it's a year contract, and they're going to assess it, have a sort of reassessment after 3 months, right?
So go on, then. You're assessing him. What are you saying?
Listen, I mean,
you're in charge.
Look, I think Szoboszlai. Look, it depends. Obviously, I don't have I need to be able to compare his CV to 10 other guys, right? And then to make a proper assessment. If I was appointing the guy, right? Obviously, it feels like a bit of a short-term fix, as you say. He's called his mate up and said, "I need, you know, we need an extra hand here to send the emails and the faxes."
Mate,
I think it's yeah. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. I think his whole tenure is going to be related to how well Endo does, because he's the only one who he seems to have like pulled out of the fire. You know what I mean? Like, because like anyone can go and buy a release clause, anyone. But that Endo really was like a bit of inside knowledge from the Bundesliga. You know what I mean? Like, he can do this.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think Gravenberch is Pep Linders and Jurgen Klopp. We know that. We wanted him from 2 years ago. Szoboszlai and apparently McAllister was Julian Ward's work, right? And Szoboszlai, I'm gonna give him a bit of credit because from what I've been told is he found out the Szoboszlai through his contacts. So, all right, we give him that one as well, right? I think it's Endo. You're right. I think his whole year is going to be based on how Endo does or how successful.
It is because anyone can come in and spend £100 million on a player. You want someone who's got, you know what I mean, an ear to the ground, a couple of little snide signings that no one sees coming. You know, bargains basically. That's what Endo could be.
I love Robbo. None of your business. I love always the best name ever. All my channel members, watchers. None of your business. Shout out every time. He says, just seen a clip of Gravenberch meeting Gakpo and Verge, and then Robbo with a boss shout. Finally, a good Dutch player.
Good, the banter's still there, isn't it?
Well, listen, we underestimate the team spirit and all that kind of guys. You know that. You know, all those
I feel like after last season, that was a really big breaking point. You know, I've not seen a more disjointed Liverpool team probably since Hodgson, when we had Christian in midfield and John Joe Shelby and all them boys, and it was and Konchesky left back. We had a really excuse my French, shit team. You know what I mean? In it. So, and I think we've gone leaps and bounds since then, but the leaps and bounds we should have gone since then. Since, let's just say, the Champions League loss, where I think after the quadruple kind of race, we kind of really went downhill. There was some serious thinking to be done, you know? And I feel like, again, maybe my assessment of the transfer window, we've still not done it. We've still not done enough to really make sure that we are contending for titles.
I agree with you. I know we're hyped today. I know we because we got Gravenberch on the final day, and possibly Mo bid refused. I genuinely think we haven't done enough, lads. After all the dust is settled and we've done the Gravenberch and the quotes and the pictures and everything. At the end of the day, we've got Matip and Gomez up against Watkins and Diaby on Saturday, lads.
Yeah, like even Bella Kochap going on loan. I said in the comments earlier, like he went on loan, straight loan. Like after Bayern Munich and Dortmund were in for him, and now he's going for a straight loan to PSV. Loan to PSV, and now there's no obligation to buy. And you're thinking, why would you not, as Liverpool, at least just
get a body in, get a body in,
and then put like not even an obligation to buy, just an option to buy. Like, okay, cool, you might use 3 or 4 million just to loan him out for the season, but wouldn't that be better than, let's just say, recall? How much would I bet we're going to recall Phillips back from his Southwick loan half the season, and we're going to recall him in once someone gets injured, and Van Dijk's now his red card and his suspension's getting maybe potentially extended because of the words that he's been using. So it's just kind of like, it seems like we're in the same pit that we were in a year ago. You know, one centre back's out. What we're gonna do?
Sas, you always try to paint a positive picture. Paint a positive picture, that one.
So what I was going to say, look, there's always a thin line between, I think there's a lot of, I get it. We could have done with a proper centre back, left-sided centre back, but I just think it's never as bad as you think it is, and it's never as good as you think it is. So as quickly as, it was only, 12 months? Was it 12 months ago? We were on for the quad, 12, 18 months ago. So, and you're right, Anfield Hustle has gone downhill pretty sharpish. However,
we can't look 12, 18 months. I agree with you, but a lot of those legs have gone. A lot of those players have gone. A lot of that experience has gone. Leadership's gone. Right? We've brought in all the other areas. We've discussed the attack. I think we're stacked. Midfield, I'm okay with. Numbers-wise, profile, we're just lacking one profile. It's that back, man. I'm not even I even think Tsimikas is.
Yeah. To give you a positive slant, look.
I'm not set on Tsimikas.
No, I like Tsimikas, but
the last season, the levels
that we're aspiring to.
Right.
Yeah. No, he's a good character, and he's obviously, he's good for morale.
Are you going to do the whole Jose Enrique is a good fucking character?
No, I get it. 100%. He's not good enough in the long term, no doubt, right? But what I'm trying to say is the attack has been rejuvenated.
Yes.
Right? Okay. The midfield, on paper, seemingly, yet
we got legs.
Yet to prove themselves, seems to be rejuvenated. And next is the defense, right? It's basically what you got to think, and they must have high hopes. Listen, I don't know what Quansah's like. He looks a specimen. I know he's about 12 years old, but we have to see how they must have high hopes for him. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have brought in a centre back or Bella Kochap or one of those guys on a loan. I don't know. It is.
I think it's Wi-Fi,
but. Let's see, let's see what happens. I don't know. It's not as bad. It's my point. Look, we got to. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on here. I think I've got every device in this house is connected to internet, and it's messing about. Apologies.
That's all right. It's a bit rocky, a bit like our transfer window, man. Look, guys, I think we're gonna call it a day, man. I think transfer window is up. We're up as well. It's been a good show. Sorry, guys, in the chat in the studio that I haven't been able to bring on. But transfer window's taking it out of me. We just got to hope and pray that Mohamed Salah doesn't get.
No injuries.
Fingers crossed.
That would be the tipping point for this ownership, man. I think if there is a tipping point left, I mean, I can't believe we didn't buy a centre back. I'm sorry, it's dawned upon me now. We didn't buy a centre back, Ian.
I know, man. I know. I was there.
I can't believe it.
When was the last time we bought a centre back? Honestly, I'm actually thinking about it now. When was the last time?
Right?
Van Dijk. That's it.
No,
Khanage was the last centre back we got in it.
Mate, even the year we won the league, we were only one injury from Van Dijk from fucking blowing up. It's just the way Klopp just likes to run by the seat of his pants, doesn't he? I think that's what it is.
I think he likes the adrenaline rush, innit?
Yeah, I think he likes it.
Yeah.
I have no idea. No, and then we loaned out Nat. Like Nat's our go-to guy, right?
Mate, he's on half a year though, half a year loan.
Come on, but if Gerald Quansah is not as good as him, then he shouldn't be at the club. Do you know what I mean? He's 26, Nat Phillips. And he's
No,
never going to get any better.
But my point is, we've always, the reason why we don't buy a centre back is like, oh, if fucking push comes to shove, we've got Nat Phillips to throw in there.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think that Kwanzaa's him now. Do you know what I mean?
I think Kwanzaa's that guy.
I think he is as well.
Is there anyone else? Hold on. What's the situation with Sepp Vandenberg?
He's on loan.
He's on loan again. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's on loan again. I think he's gone to a German team, from what I remember. I think this season as well. He's on loan.
Schalke. Is he back at Schalke?
Guys, we're basically relying on Konate. Honestly, just literally is Konate. You know that.
Who's always injured.
But I agreed with Ian as well before, where like it was like I genuinely think like Joe Gomez's best position for us has been right back. I think right back is Joe Gomez's position, where he's done pretty good right back as a backup for Trent, but I don't think centre back in that I've not seen enough for a few years now where he's been consistently doing well in that position. He's screwed up a fair bit, and like you said as well with Matip, well that's just a lost cause anyway since last season. So we're literally going in with two centre backs and a potential replacement. Right,
we've got two centre backs, 7 number 8s.
Yeah.
5 strikers
and eight number 9s.
You know what I mean? We've got by the way, Keller has stayed. Keller has stayed. So we're stacked in the goalkeeping department.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about this, and I was thinking, you know what else is another great team where they didn't really have an established number 6? And I think, I don't know whether you lot agree with, but you know those Fergie days of Man United, yeah? They just outscored opponents.
No, but they always had Roy Keane, right?
But
he only became a number 6 later on, no?
Like Carrick and things like that. Like they were kind of established into that role, kind of 6, but they were all
Carrick's a good shout because he was my number 6.
Park, which I hope Endo will end up being like Ji-Sung Park. I feel like if we get Ji-Sung, you know, those kind of midfielders where they weren't out and out CDMs, but they had enough energy in midfield where they got the job done. And you know that Man United squad, they were outscoring opponents. And I think that's what Klopp's mentality now for this season is okay, we're not going to have to keep the goals out, but instead of us maybe winning 3-1, we're going to win 4-2. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, guys. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a fun one, I think.
We're going to have a lot of, I think everyone needs to a blood pressure checking machine, man. Like, this season, it's going to be mentalist. I mean, I don't know. I look, at home, we're going to batter most teams. As Ian says earlier, like away to Man City or away to United, we turn up like that, man. I don't know, man.
Mate, we could turn it with 6 men away to United and we've got them fucked, so I wouldn't worry about that.
I love it.
The only one to worry about is City, and you could have the strongest team in Europe and still struggle away to City. Do you know what I mean? So we've played 2 of the big rivals away from home already.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed, smash Aston Villa. We've got 10 points out of 12. Opening 4 fixtures, which include Villa, Chelsea away, Newcastle away, a tricky Bournemouth. I don't think Bournemouth are getting relegated this season, lads. I think Bournemouth are going to stay up. So if you offered us 10 points out of 12, I think we'd all have taken it.
100%.
We've got an international break. Hopefully the injuries, the little niggles here and there clear up. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be exciting. Nice one, Anfield Hustle, for coming on and joining us. Sass, nice one as well. And
pleasure. Sorry about my internet.
Nah, you're all right, man. Fucking all you millionaires have got dodgy internet, man. I don't know what you know. I mean, you've got some 1,000 devices fucking out your house, like fucking dodgy cunt that you are. But anyway, Ian, good to have you back on board, man. Hope you enjoyed it.
It's been emotional.
It's been emotional, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tell you. Yeah.
Looking at that cap for 2 hours has been emotional, to be fair.
Before I start crying, I better get out of there, man. He's making me really emotional, the fat cunt. All right, people. This has been the final transfer Khanage of this season. Over and out. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.